Yo, what's up, guys?
I'm here. Good morning. Or good afternoon for some of you. It was just recently morning, so. Alright, what's up? How are y'all today? Happy Friday. That completely slipped my mind till right now. But it was Friday. Great. I had to do so much editing yesterday and uploading, so yeah, my bad. Didn't have time to do everything I needed to do throughout the day and stream. So all right. I don't know if y'all put anything on the list, but I do have shit in my watch later that I put in there just recently. Not even because I planned on watching it on stream. I plan on watching it on my own time, but we can watch those. I don't really care. I'll watch them right now. All right. Oh, Herrera did a gun meme review. I do like gun memes. I like memes, period. All right. What do we got? Jesus, I need to clear out this fucking watch later. I got way too much shit in here. Okay. Aside from Shaun of the Dead, which I will watch eventually. Fuck. Dude, I have great news. I haven't chewed, or I haven't dipped Grizzly in like like 2.5 weeks. Since Christmas. Yeah, since Christmas, I haven't dipped Grizzly Wintergreen. And my gums are starting to heal because these little pouches don't really have that crazy of an effect on my gums. It has nicotine, so obviously it gives me that effect, but it doesn't destroy my gums like actual tobacco, and like my gums are healing and I can notice it, and it's wild. Just want to let y'all know that. I was proud. Alright, we got a video by Sunny V2. I put that in there because we haven't watched anything by Sunny V2 in a while. And it's about the Hawk Tua girl, so even better. Something recent from JD Delay about Diddy. Fringe alpha male won't stop humiliating himself. We watched one of these a couple weeks back. It was about some fucking bald white dude, and I guess all the alpha males are bald. That's all I ever see. They got no hair. Probably it's probably by choice. I don't know, or maybe they just balded early, and that's the way they behave. That's why they behave like that. But being bald's not a bad thing. Not even a bad look. But you know, like when you subconscious and got a fragile ego about it, I suppose. I'd like to see. I like these kinds of videos because it tells me everything. It tells me what not to do. Well, not so me, but it tells the people that don't know what not to do, especially the youngins. But youngins are young and impressionable. So they're called youngins. And then I also put this one in here by Mr. Ballin because this is like one of my favorite topics, revenge. I love the concept of revenge. Would I go out of my way to be vengeful today? No, that requires a degree of work, and your boy lazy. But I love when people get what they deserve. You know what I mean? When you stick it to somebody. When you get the last laugh. When you're just like, fuck you. Right? Feels good. And I love seeing it. Whether it be in TV, movies, real life. Fuck you. And you just like, you get the last punch in, right? And it's just like, I win. High testosterone can cause male pattern baldness. Can it? And that's not even a bad thing either. But these guys, they're weird about it. Should we start with that one? We should start with this one. You know how many times I've been bald in my life? A lot. And I didn't mind it. And I hung around mature people, so no one was like, hey, baldy, and all this shit. Like, and even if that was the case, it wouldn't bother me, because, like, whatever. I look fine with no hair. At least I feel. I mean, there's that initial, like, knee-jerk reaction from people whenever I go from a lot of hair to no hair at all, which I've done before. Actually did it like 2 years ago. I went from long hair and chopped it all off and went bald. Like, I had hair down to my shoulders, bro, and I chopped it all off and went bald. And what you see now is the regrowing of what I did all that time ago. So, yeah. I don't mind going bald. It's just like, I also like having long hair. I like having short hair. I like having medium length hair. I like it all. So, okay, Kevin, we'll check that out. We'll check it out after this. I'm already here. I don't want to leave. Oh, dude, the middle of my chest feels like it wants to. There it goes. I don't know why it happens, but it happens. Little area right here. I think it's just like cartilage, but it pops. I don't know if y'all's does that. It's like the center of your chest, sternum, right above your abdomen. Here, this initial chest plate that you have. My shit like pops whenever I stretch, and I felt it. Like I felt resistance, and I was like, ugh. All right. Here we go.
All right, so we have another one of these ex-convict alpha male bodybuilder guys, Cali Muscle, who has been around on YouTube for over 15 years, and he's gone through every genre of content like fitness, pranks, motivational, rap, and mukbang, which was probably his last successful niche. But these videos were just gnarly, and he wasn't able to keep it up for very long. He'd basically just eat a bucket of fried chicken and act like a lunatic.
Yeah, oh, look at that. Skin flopping all like Jeffrey Dahmer. Yeah, right between grill. Oh, right between grill. Boy. Oh, yeah. Get on that biscuit. Get on that biscuit, too.
Yeah, so that was his content for a while, and it was getting him views. But then he had a heart attack, so he couldn't do that anymore.
But did he though? But did he? I don't know. My tolerance for just like believing shit, bro, is so low. Especially these days on the internet. Maybe like 10, 15 years ago. But did he though? I don't know. Am I am I even wrong for asking that question in 2025?
And then he decided to go on a diet of only watermelon. He claimed to eat only watermelon for a month straight. So he went from a diet of fried chicken to a diet of watermelon. I mean, he's really playing into the stereotype.
Bro, I fucking love watermelon, and I could probably do that shit for about a week. Not 30 days. That's madness. Think about it. Think about your favorite food, dog. Think about it for a second. Think about your favorite food. Could you eat it for 30 days straight? Watermelon's not even my favorite food, but I'd fuck it up. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. That's wild. That's commitment.
Types here, but unfortunately the watermelon content wasn't really getting him any views, and I think his fans, they just
Wait, sprinkle tagine on the watermelon? I don't know what that is. All last 8 videos about watermelons. Dude's lost all his brain cells.
felt like he was getting too desperate, and also like Wes Watson, his ego was getting out of control. Like at one point Cali was well respected, but then like usual, the fame and money and steroids got to his head, and he got a huge ego, which was really evident when he was at the gym during COVID, and the manager politely asked him to make sure he keeps his mask on, and Cali got all offended about that and that the guy didn't know who he is. Cali, he used the line, "Don't you know who I am?" And then he tells the guy he must live under a rock because he doesn't. So apparently, if you're not watching his TikToks of him molesting a bucket of chicken, then you're not in the know, according to him.
I don't know where you guys are from, but this is Cali. No. So I'm totally got that wrong. No. So at this particular, no.
Internet personalities are so weird, man. Like, just because your video got 4.5 million views, that doesn't mean that you're on the same level of notoriety as Tom Brady, Michael Jordan, Brad Pitt, Tom Cruise, Oprah. You know what I mean? There's a significant percentage of the planet that knows those people. But the internet is not the same as that, man. And it never will be. The internet is just amateur entertainment. If you want to compare it to actual entertainment, that's all it is. It's amateur entertainment. Sometimes even less than that, right? And there is some professional stuff on here, but you know what I mean? Compared to like actual famous people, that just because you get those numbers doesn't mean you're on the same level of those people to where they should know who you are, right? you even watch TV a little bit, even poorly, you kind of should know who the fuck Brad Pitt is. If you've watched movies at all in your life, you kind of should know who Tom Cruise is, right? Those are names that are so crazy famous and synonymous that, yeah, you should know who they are, right? But that's not the way it works for the internet people. It doesn't work that way for you. You can have 4 million views on a video, but that doesn't mean that was 4 million actual eyeballs. That just means that someone was scrolling through their feed, landed on yours, and then their popcorn was ready, and they set the phone down, went and got their popcorn, your shit played in the background, they came back, they were like, oh shit, oh damn, swipe, don't want to watch that. That's the way the internet is, really. Sometimes it can be. So I wish famous internet people would stop saying, do you know who I am? No, bro, because you're on the internet. And surprisingly, this will blow your mind, but not everybody spends their life on the internet. Imagine that. Just because the numbers are there doesn't mean that constant eyeballs are. It doesn't make sense, but you know what I'm saying?
No idea.
Because you're not in the know.
Okay.
That's why.
Okay.
Did you think he'll refund us and we'll go?
No. So you took that from us. That's my fault for saying it like that.
Dude, if they implement AI content creators, that will be so amazing. That will be so amazing because that will just drive up the demand for real content creators. You know, every time I scroll through a comment section, whether it be in shorts and videos, I see at least like the same 5 comments. Thank God there's no music in this. Thank God there's no AI voice. Thank God there's no like video cut in half with fucking AI generated bullshit at the bottom, right? That you can look at if you don't want to look at the video. And it's just like such a weird ass model that people hate and people don't like, right? And I see that all the time. No one likes AI, man. Nobody. And I will say this. There are things that AI is going to be able to do that's going to be amazing. You know, there's this new thing that Apple's rolling out, and the only reason I know this is because my phone literally told me in the settings, is there's going to be a new Apple AI. It's something. It's just going to be an Apple AI that's implemented into your phone, right? And to me, that seems pretty fucking interesting. I'll probably use it. I kind of want to use it because it'll literally be in my hand, so why not? And I kind of just wanted to get a feel for how it works, right? It's something that's coming soon, though. It was just like Apple AI beta testing or something like that. I don't know. I wasn't, usually I can get in on these things, but for some reason I couldn't get in on this one. Maybe it's because my phone's old. I don't know, but I think every iPhone gets the same shit. Anyways, that will just drive up the demand for real content creators if YouTube does that, because people will be able to tell the difference. I don't care how good the AI is, people can always tell the difference, and you will always be able to tell. At least I would fucking hope that you guys would be able to tell the difference between an AI me and me. You know what I'm saying? That's just...
Totally my bad.
How long
So,
you been here?
5 years.
And you don't know us?
No idea.
So
You know how many
where
people
you
come?
been at all?
Huh?
Rock, where you been? Under
Okay,
rock?
so I'm gonna ask you guys to leave.
Okay.
We'll refund your money. Yeah, it's fine.
That's great. Let's do that.
So then Cali gets kicked out of the gym, and while he's standing out front talking about what just happened, some guy accidentally walks in front of him, and of course Cali gets all pissed off, and the guy's like, oh shit, my bad. And Cali, he pulls a knife out on the guy, and it's so funny because the guy just kind of laughs at it. You know, Cali's trying to be all intimidating and scare him and pulls a knife out, and the guy's just like, dude, take it easy, it's not that serious.
Goes business, man. We came giving them promotion, the advertisement. Excuse you, homie. Excuse you.
Oh, my bad. You good?
You good?
Yeah, I'm good too.
Yeah. I got too. What you mean? You ain't got to tell me, homie.
You good? What's good?
Yeah, you good?
What's up, man? I didn't mean to do that. Chill out, bro.
Okay,
Yo,
go.
you good? Hey, you know Joey Stacks? Yeah, that's one of my homies. He comes stays with me all the time. My name's
okay.
J-Hop, man.
All right.
Cali, chill, dog.
Huh?
Ain't nobody like that.
That's
Chill.
good. Go ahead, go ahead,
Chill
go
out,
ahead.
a little anger. Chill out.
Okay, go ahead, dog.
Chill out, bro.
Go ahead.
Chill out a little bit.
Y'all need to chill.
I feel like he was hoping that something like this would happen, just so he could try to, I don't know, put forth his bravado and seem tough. because, dog, you're standing at the entrance of the gym, like damn near at the door, with the only space to walk between is going to be between you and the camera guy, and then you want to get mad about it. You're a d-bag.
Tell me chill out.
Chill out, man.
I don't
You wanna
need
talk?
you
Let's
to
talk.
chill out. Just go,
Yeah,
bro.
talk. I can take my, you put the knock down, all that. Chill out a little bit.
Okay, go ahead. I don't chill out for nobody. Go, homie.
Chill out, bro.
You keep on. You still talking, boy.
What'd you say?
You still talking.
What do you want to talk about, bro? Don't put the knife on everything.
I don't
You don't
need to
impress
talk
me,
about
homie.
that.
You
I don't
don't
need to talk
impress
about
me,
that.
bro.
I don't need to talk about that.
This is the most silliest shit in the world. His bodyguard has a shirt that is literally screaming for its life, man. I can literally hear it ripping through the screen. And he has Kong on the back. What are you, a dog, bro? What are you, a dog? My old pit bull had a fucking had a collar that said Kong on it, because that was the brand. Over here looking like a whole bunch of fucking milk duds stuck together, mixed with Mr. Potato Head. Starting problems when you could have just, like, I don't know, edited that shit out of the shot when he walked past, because, you know, at the same time y'all are standing at the fucking entrance. You fucking buffoons. Holy ass. Imagine this white dude beats the shit out of you. What's your excuse then?
Talk to me like you impress me, bro. I got a big Instagram following. It's like, you know, it's all good. Say off all one. Let's go.
Yeah, you still fresh.
Yeah, so real alpha male stuff there, you know, having to pull a knife out on somebody to try to scare him. And the most embarrassing part is it didn't even work. So around this time, I think is when things started to go south for Cali. And now that the mukbang content is over, he only gets...
Oh, dude, I believe that. He's friends with Wes Watson? Yeah. You know that saying, women always stick together? It also applies to dudes. Douchebags stick together. They travel in packs. See, a douchebag can't hang out with a normal guy like me, because that just won't last. I'd always be making fun of him. I'd always be laughing in his face. I'd always be making snide comments using big words that I know he doesn't understand, because I'm smarter than he is. And eventually, like Sheldon Cooper, he would eventually get wise to my savvy language and just my facetious attitude towards him, that, well, he'd try to fight me, because that's the only thing they know how to do. They don't know words. They don't know how to use their brain. It's just fighting. And, well, I do know how to use my brain, right? And I'll avoid fighting at all costs. So, yeah, these types of douchebags have no choice but to be friends with other douchebags. Otherwise, they don't have friends. That's just it.
like 10 to 20,000 views a video on his channel with almost 4 million subs. So basically all he tries to do now is extract as much money as possible from his dwindling audience. Like now he's trying to be a financial advisor, life coach, social media guru person. And he said God spoke to him and told him it's time for him to start helping his followers.
Several months ago, God spoke to me and he told me I need to be here.
Skip. No. I don't really have too much religion, but I'm not gonna sit here and let you fucking use that shit to fucking take people's money. No sir, no way. Yep.
Like the first one says, is Cali Muscle a scammer? Then the end, and then keep going, it's over, and then ultimate head shaver every man needs. So in between him joking about his downfall and talking about how he's trying to sell a course now, he's promoting a head shaver. And then his TikTok, it's all just him trying to promote products. Like almost every single video, it's either that or him addressing the haters.
This is my second box and they just sent it and I couldn't wait. I was hitting them up like, where?
Scary, spooky, hilarious, crazy. Scary, spooky, hilarious, crazy.
And I don't know if you noticed there, but his eyes are different.
Bro, is that that can't be the real color of he's about to say it. I was like, hold on, bro, that can't be the real color of your eyes. Ooh. Don't tell me you wear colored contacts like a girl. Does everyone agree? It's okay if you don't. Does everyone agree that colored contacts are for chicks? I think so. Please don't. And if that's the real color of your eyes, damn son.
Different color now, and it's not from wearing colored contacts. He had surgery to permanently change his eye color.
Oh, that's that's uh that's what's the word I'm looking for? That's that's gay. I'm pretty sure. Let me run it back in my head. Nah. Yeah. I crunched the numbers, did the calculations, and arrived at the same conclusion. That's gay, bro. Hmm. And I thought that like how can you be alpha if you're not even happy with what you look like? You're not even happy with your appearance. Isn't that like the whole thing of being alpha? You take what the Lord gave you and you live with it and you fucking maybe you just like maybe you just like clean yourself up, right? But at the same time, like isn't it like you're supposed to be happy with what you look like? But then, you do that and then probably turn around and call bitches shit because they do the makeup and the hair and the fucking nails and shit, which I'm not a fan of either, but I'm definitely not going to be a hypocrite. Like, oh man, not even colored contacts. You went the whole route of just ugh. You're You know what this guy reminds me of like just the way you are. If you were a female, you'd be a runway model addicted to cocaine and your diet is an apple and a carrot. I feel like that's what you would be if you were the opposite sex.
Which is just insane. I mean, this guy's off the rails. Like, there's a good chance he could have gone blind from it. I don't know how that's worth it. And afterwards, it looked like he could barely even open his eyes.
It only been about a couple of hours, so my vision's still blurry because I got on they got it covering over my eyes. But man, they look so good.
Yeah, so I'm sure
No. That's oh shit. Whatever.
it's probably hard to be a fan of this guy at this point. I mean, all the people that started following him when he first blew up, they probably just think it's sad to watch. I mean, most people, they just stopped watching, and the people that are still here are probably just like, what the hell is going on? Like 90% of the comments are just roasting him now. Like somebody said, this guy's getting eye surgery, staying at a Motel 6, and time to unsubscribe. My boy's done lost it. Dude's got 2 kids, but is willing to risk not seeing them ever again because he wants his eyes to be different. Cali's a special
Damn. Ugh.
blend of narcissism. Yeah.
I feel bad for your kids.
And like Wes Watson, he's always trying to show off and, he needs to have fancy cars and a nice house and everything that he can't afford. I mean, he did this video where he's looking at a $5 million house and was seriously acting like he was contemplating buying it. But like basically every comment said, there's no chance he can afford this.
So yeah, with the house come the horses. So got horse hands to take care of it. So
Do you race? Do you have jockeys? Do you have people? This doesn't look like.
Like basically every comment said, there's no chance he can afford this.
So yeah, with the house come the horses. So got horse hands to take care of it. So I mean it's 3 acres.
3 acres. Horses. Ain't no way, dog. I don't know. Maybe you do. I hope you do. I'm praying for you, man. I hope you have it. I doubt it though. Horses? You think that house is expensive. In the long run, the horses will be more expensive. I don't have horses, man, but I know people that do, and I've just seen people that do, and oh, it's so expensive, dude, in the long run to maintain. And what do you do with these horses on 3 acres? What other livestock do you have aside from horses? If you have no other livestock aside from horses, it means that the horses are for racing, right? At least that's what's happening in my head. So, and if you're going to raise horses, you have to have jockeys for these horses, trainers for these horses, medical staff for these horses. You got to get the horses inspected. Like there's a that's $1 billion business, man. I don't know what you're doing with horses. And it's on 3 acres, man. That's it.
Got to show them the 3 acres. Like something that, looks like something up my alley. Got the horses, love horses. I'll be riding the horses all over here. Kids that love the horses. Got the nice pool right here.
And also, like,
So you would just have horses just to have horses, I guess. It is a nice house, man. I guess. Let's look. We have to be honest, guys. We would all love to live here, but we never will. But that doesn't mean that we can't call bullshit on the fact that this guy will never live here either. Like, I feel like he wasted someone's time here, to be honest. Because, think about it. I don't feel like just me, I could go to this house and be like, hey, can I look around? I'd like to see if I'd want to purchase the home. I don't think it works that way with homes like this. Homes that cost $5 million, I think you got to set up a meeting. You got to call beforehand. You got to set up a meeting, and you have to be interested in the house, right? It's not like, I doubt that they would let you. Maybe just like Wes Watson, he just like paid somebody to, hey man, can I just bring my camera crew in here and look around, just real quick? I won't be here long. I'm just gonna talk some shit, and I have no intention on buying this house. I can't afford this house, but like, I'll give you a little bit if you just let me walk around the property. That's it. So maybe it was that. I don't know.
like Wes, Cali's a massive liar. And I saw he was on Fresh and Fit like 6 months ago, and the top comments are just pointing out how he's full of shit about everything. Somebody said, I'm convinced Cali has never been real in his life, not even to himself. He literally doesn't even know who he is. And I noticed he does this thing on podcasts where he goes on there and I'll be like, man, it's an honor to be on here. I'm a huge fan. This is a dream of mine. I'm so happy you had me on here. And then the hosts are like, dude, we've been trying to get you on here for years. Like, I've been reaching out to you forever, but you never respond.
Thanks for having me, man. This is a dream. This is epic.
Really?
Yeah, this is epic.
Because the thing about Cali Muscle is that I DM'd you. My girl said, she goes, I remember right when I met you, you DM'd that guy asking for an interview, and I didn't get a response for like 4 years on Instagram.
You a lie.
On God, we can show right now.
Soon as you DM me, I responded.
I think that you might have a delay on your
No,
experience.
so I responded.
You
And
did, but
so-
like 4 years later. I'm opening your Instagram. as we
No,
speak.
so I responded. The first time I got DM that I saw, I got DM from you. I responded.
Oh my god, bro, just digging your hole deeper. You're getting called out. It's okay. You're getting called out. It's fine. Just be like, you know what, man? That's my bad. At the time, I didn't really want to do interviews and shit. And I really felt like I had better shit to do. But sorry, I'm here now. What's up? Could have done that, but it is impossible for dudes like this to be humble about anything. Or to check themselves. There is no looking within with these dudes. It's just, hold on, man. I'm so cold. I gotta get my heating pad. I have to sit on this thing, otherwise, like, my whole body goes cold. So we're gonna put it on. We'll put it on medium. If it gets too hot, I'll turn it to low. Clydesdales? Yeah, yeah. Have fun with that, Katai. Who's gonna pick up the fucking tree-sized turds that those things drop? That's rough. Well, I mean, you do got 3 kids. That could be the workforce if you had Clydesdales. Really. I mean, why have kids if you can't put them to work, right? If you can't have your own little labor camp going on. China gets away with it all the time. To be able to do it with your kids. It happened to me. I was the fucking... I was a little brown landscaper when I was a kid. All right.
Look at this. 2016, June 2016. Yo, Cali, I do a podcast called No Jumper. We have 200K on YouTube. Keep in mind, we're right now at 3.7 million.
Wow.
We interview a ton of rappers. Would love to get you in for an interview. Let me know.
2016?
And then again in 2019. Just watched that back workout video and got reminded how bad I want to interview you.
But thanks for having me. Firstly, I've been watching you guys' show since you started.
Oh, thank you.
You know what I mean? It's my #1 podcast.
Appreciate
so
that,
I
brother.
feel like I made it because I'm here.
Yeah. Well, we've been trying to get a hold of you, bring you on for like a year or two, bro. Yeah. I don't know if Organic or Tall Guy told you, but like, bro, we had been trying to get you on for a minute.
Never knew it. So I never had my DMs open.
Oh,
right.
That's what it was.
I just now opened up my DMs when I started my program.
Yeah, so you just tell he's full of shit. I mean, there's no chance.
Okay.
He's been watching Fresh and Fit since the very beginning and watches every single episode. And he said he just opened his DMs like when he started his course. But on the No Jumper podcast, that was years before this, he's talking about DMing Adam. So he's just saying random shit. It's hilarious. And I'd imagine the only reason he cared to go on Fresh and Fit now is because he probably needs the exposure. I mean, his views are way down. And I see he's in this group now with Wes Watson called the Strength Cartel. And they just sell like creatine and supplements to their audience. And they get together and make videos.
Bro, creatine's not good for you, man. It's just not. And it gives you acne and shit. It's I knew a couple guys taking creatine back in high school when we were playing baseball. And back in my time, there was even some guys that were taking, back before it got banned off the counter. What was it, ephedrine? Ephedrine, I believe, is what it was, that a couple of players around the nation were taking, and some of them were dropping, bro, from like heart problems at the whopping age of 18, right? Like damn near almost having heart attacks on the field, right? And I think it was ephedrine. You used to be able to get it over the counter, and then they were like, nope. And it wasn't just athletes. Like, this was something that was being used to cook up another drug that I can't remember. Y'all probably do remember. But around that same time, man, a lot of us were either taking whey protein or just, we were all taking something that was legal, but creatine was just no. A lot of us refused to take creatine when we were playing, and this was at the high school level, man. This wasn't like Little League or anything. This was the high school level, and where I came from, sports was a big thing, man. You either did good at sports or go fuck yourself, really. And it's a sports town. This is a big deal, right? And some of us just still would not take that shit at all because it's not
every once in a while where they just record each other lifting at the gym and yelling about their haters. And him and Wes are just perfect for each other. You know, it's like they're trying to compete to see who can be the biggest lol cow. But Cali, he's got a lot of work to do. I mean, recently Wes stepped it up a notch, and one of his haters finally showed up to the gym, and apparently it was some autistic guy, and Wes just beat the shit out of him.
I love how when he said apparently it's some autistic guy, Walter pops up on the fucking screen. Because sometimes, anytime I hear Walter speak, bro, sometimes I really do feel like that guy's on a spectrum of some kind, man. And either he doesn't know, or we don't know. I don't know. But, David, what's good? The other one's dumber, though. And I'm starting to think, given his behavior, that he didn't leave his civilian job, which was some kind of agent. I'm starting to think that guy was fired. No matter what he says. Like, there's no way. Hey, mama. You go to sleep. You should take a nap. I don't even know what that was about, Christian. Alright, let me go back to my what was it that you had, Kevin? Habitual line crosser? Where is it? I probably gotta scroll back up. I don't think it's there. It's probably in the... Oh my god, I'm so hungry. Oh, I don't really feel like looking for it. Just tell me what it is. What's it called? I don't feel like fucking with the list right now. And that you put that request in a while ago. I'm having to scroll up. I don't really feel like. Whale talk. All right.
Oh, I can't breathe. You guys got to see this. Oh, go look in Russia. What the hell are you doing? Stop touching that. You need to listen. North Korea.
What is it that you want?
Look, you sent your troops over here, and I am so incredibly thankful. I know that they need the combat experience, and I don't need anything, America. Remember that. And they just need the combat experience. But what do I do with them?
They are just people. They are disposable. You can do whatever you want with them.
But, are they trained to do anything?
Let me see.
I don't know what's going on here.
They can hate America. They're very, very good at karate chopping bricks. And they can work for long periods of time with little to no food.
Oh, yes. I already knew that. I gave one of them a slice of bread and he started crying.
Oh, don't worry. They do that all the time. Just make sure that they remember I am their god.
You guys can say what you want about this interaction, but I'm like 60% sure something along these lines actually happened. Oh, what is that? It stinks. Did the poop pipe explode?
First time, huh?
Wow, suddenly my infrastructure doesn't seem that bad as long as I continue to avert my eyes from Ohio and Michigan. Israel, my response to your weak attack will be devastating. Oh my god, is it gonna be today? Shit, man. Takes you a month to strike back, and then all of a sudden Israel hits back in like a week, and then it's waiting game for another fucking month, and all of a sudden when you attack, nothing of significance happens. Can you not pull your punches maybe a little bit this time so I can stop watching the bench warmers? Fuck, it's time for the major leagues to play. This is a Middle Eastern problem. If America would just stick to themselves and stop bothering the entire world.
Is this about the war in Israel and Hamas and all that shit? I'm just trying to understand, because if I don't understand, then I can't get the jokes. Like, if I don't know,
we would be able to live in peace and harmony.
We do be getting everybody's business, though. It annoys me, too.
Cannot wait to give you the biggest piece of humble pie you've ever experienced in your damn life. And what are you coming at me with this whole we be living in peace and harmony if it wasn't for you? Look, I don't like being the fucking world police. Quite frankly, it's expensive and it's taxing on my resources, my time, and my motherfucking patience. But historically, every time I tried to mind my own business, a world war started. So now I have to play world police because everybody can't get along. Your pride will be your downfall. I cannot wait for you Americans to finally figure it out.
You know, me and the Mach 2 Bumblebee are just tickled pink.
I'm perfectly content with letting the world around us destroy themselves. I don't know about you guys, but if all those countries want to kill each other and decimate each other and wipe themselves off the face of the planet, we're perfectly capable of defending ourselves. But if on the other side of the pond, if y'all want to kill each other and then just make it a complete ghost town to where there's no population, I won't care. We'll still find a way to survive without any of you. So, like, if I say we give them what we want, or I say we give them what they want, I've been saying that for years. Get out of their fucking business. It cost us money. And on top of that, if they want to kill each other, do it. Why should we care? Why should we even do anything? We're civilized. If y'all don't want to be civilized with each other, that's your problem. I'm caught up now. I guess, yeah. I understand what we're doing now. Yeah, dude, just kill each other. That's it. Go for it. Why not? Let them. Who cares? What? You know, let's just do what Batman did. At the first Batman with Ra's al Ghul. I'm not going to kill you. Damn sure I'm not going to save you. No, we got forced into some fucking babysitting ass role to where we have to play mediator to all these whiny bitches of the world.
To hear you say that shit. I've been sitting around here doing nothing, just twiddling my thumbs with fuck all to do, just waiting for somebody to do something stupid. So go ahead, step on up to the plate. If you think you're in the major leagues, just fucking do it. Go ahead, touch a boat. I dare you. Touch a fucking boat. Tell him, kid.
Why the hell doesn't Amazon sell Liter Cola? It was in that movie. It's got to exist, right? Why'd you say, Grandpa Buff?
God damn it, kid. We're trying to be intimidating. Say something scary.
Rosie O'Donnell naked.
That's scary.
Damn it, kid. Something scary to Iran.
Iran's not scared of a naked Rosie O'Donnell. They may be tougher than I thought.
Oh my God. If you want to intercept, intimidate Iran.
Those are some mighty fine F4 Phantoms you got. It would be a shame if somebody turned them into debris. You know, sometimes I forget that my museums have newer firepower than Iran is currently using.
Hey, remember, do the thing. It's been like 10 videos since you did the thing, and the people love the thing.
Would you intercept me? I'd intercept me. I am not afraid. In America, you may want to think twice before you think that my arms are outdated. I just got a bunch of Su-35s from Russia. A bunch?
I am more afraid of what those Girl Scouts will do to me if I don't purchase a box of Thin Mints than I am of anything that you can do, Iran. Sincerely, everyone here in America. Fuck out of here, bro. Stop it.
That's a stretch. You got a few. And they came in boxes, in parts. I'm surprised you got them from Russia. I thought you bought them from IKEA. But do me a favor. After you're done assembling them, Take a picture of all the parts you have left over. I just want to know. North Korea, I have some bad news. I gave some of your troops a pudding cup, and now they think I'm their god. God, I feel so bad for North Koreans. Interrupting everything else, UK.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird being on this side of it because
I actually truly do feel bad for North Koreans, as opposed to feeling bad for Floridians whenever they get hit with a hurricane and don't leave. In North Korea, they can't leave, bro. So, I actually do feel bad for them. They have my sympathies. Not the little dick bastard in charge, though. When are we going to get rid of that guy? You know, we've infiltrated and gotten rid of dictators plenty of times before. I feel like we'd be doing the world a service. But North Korea adds zero value, I feel. At all. It's just a pest, really. It's a little gnat at a barbecue that no one wants to take the time to fucking hold up a bottle of hairspray and just incinerate that bitch, but yeah, maybe in time. But little Rocket Man's never gonna pop off anyway, so it's nothing to worry about because he's the world's biggest coward. So, like, I mean, is he annoying? Yeah, he's like the annoying evil kid from Toy Story. The first one.
Normally, it's always the UK saying America, and
Ray was good.
Oh, that was a great impression. It's almost like it came from the same person. Anyways, happy 360th birthday to the Royal Marines. America, I'm proud of you. You're willing to say something good for somebody who existed before you did. I'm very happy. Thank you for the happy birthday. Aw, is this a wholesome interaction? Not for long. How do they celebrate? Well, it's a day of fun, ceremonies. We pay homage to our history. It's a really good time. Yeah, till the sun goes down, then it gets weird, right? They do a bunch of crazy shit. I don't follow. I don't know, like mix a bunch of random alcohol together, call it grog, and get shit-faced together? Well, yes, there's alcohol involved, but we don't make anything called a grog. And then afterwards...
Yeah, just FYI, you shouldn't make that either, ever. Definitely not. And I never even did it the traditional way, which is what he said, literally mixing a whole bunch of alcohols together. I did the grossest thing imaginable at a strip club one time, and I walked up to the bar, and the bar would do this thing where, if you don't know, like at a bar, they have like a catch tray for all of the residual alcohol that spills or comes out of the glass when they're pouring it, right? It's like a spill tray. That it's like the same kind of spill tray you see at McDonald's or Burger King when you go to the machine to get your Coke, and then a little bit falls out, but it falls between that little rail, right? And it goes into this plastic tray. Well, they have the same thing at bars, right? In this strip club, the bar there would do this thing where they would take all of the residual alcohol that was left in this tray, and they would pour it into shot glasses, and you could drink this. And I did. And I mean, it wasn't gross or anything. I used to like down bottles of Robitussin around that time, so I could pretty much drink fucking anything. But man, it was not good coming up, and I got very drunk. Man, it was actually really, really bad. I think that may have been the night that we destroyed the bathroom because we had maxed out our drink cards, and we didn't want to pay for our drinks. We didn't want to pay the tab, bro, because our drink cards were maxed out, and that was like 500 euro, which was like 600 American. So me and my buddy Alex went into the bathroom, destroyed the bathroom. It short-circuited the electricity to the entire building because we were ripping shit out of the ceiling. And when that happened, they had no choice but to evacuate the building, and because electricity had been cut, their little drink scanner machine wasn't working. So we got out without paying. Oh, don't drink, kids. All right, here we go.
Stumble off the base and get into a bunch of fistfights downtown? No, we discourage that kind of activity.
Oh, well, we encourage that kind of activity.
Us too, but, Marines gonna be Marines, am I right? And then they turn the hallways and the barracks into a slip and slide with plastic tarps and personal lubricant and fight with bugle sticks? No.
Yeah, I'm with them on this. Nah, I don't have. No. That's unless you were restricted to the barracks, ain't no way I'm spending my Friday night or Saturday night as a between the age of 18 and 21-year-old doing that shit. I'm going where the ladies are, really. I would hope that would be the case. But anyways, yeah. I'm a solid no on that. Hey Falcon, you wanna come slide down this fucking this hallway on baby oil and beat each other with bugle sticks? No. I'm going to the bar. That's happy hour right now, man. What are you thinking?
What about swivel chair jousting? I can't say
I did do that in the office. In actually we did it in brigade headquarters. We were there for a class, some 40-hour block. Some poor lieutenant got tasked with giving us this class. Can't even remember what the class was for, but we were in brigade headquarters, and someone found the I guess the janitor's closet. It was not janitor, it was just a cleaning closet, and there was mops and shit in there, and brooms, and mop buckets that were empty, and nothing was wet, nothing was dirty, everything was just like pretty good. And we moved the table, we used the chairs to push each other while holding the brooms and the mops. And then some people would do it with the mop buckets. We had 2 mop buckets, and we would do the broom jousting with the mop buckets. And yeah, then some sergeant major walked in. It wasn't even a part of the class or anything like that. We got yelled at. We had to do push-ups. It was so much fun, though.
I've seen that one either. Okay. Your guys are way out there. Okay, I've seen this one once before. How about doing decline sit-ups for whatever the British version of chesty puller is while you're being waterboarded with whiskey?
I don't want to play.
There's something genuinely wrong with the United States Marine Corps. That, or your...
Thank you for saying the Marine Corps, bro, because yes, there is something wrong with them. I feel like out of all the branches, the most normal people you're going to find in the Army and the Air Force. You're going to find some fucking weirdos in the Navy. And all of your crazy motherfuckers are in the Marines. So, thank you for just saying Marines and not lumping us all into their fucking wild shenanigans. I mean, I was in the E4 Mafia, but Marines, they take it... They always take it a step further. God bless them.
Marines don't know how to have any fun. So glad I declared independence from you. Speak for yourself down there, laddie. Sounds like a great time. I may have to go on over to America for the next Marine Corps ball. Scotland, you would probably be welcomed with open arms. Come to think of it, America, we've been doing this video here for about, 6.5 minutes, and not once have you mentioned any new programs, weapons, tech that you're beating your chest with about how powerful you are. I know. It's pretty out of character for me. But, I mean, maybe HLC caught up with all the new programs. I didn't think that would happen. Nah, I'm just fucking with
Christ,
you.
Girl, what?
First
What is
on the
it?
list,
Oh
we
my
have...
God, what? Who's here? Who's here? You better go kill somebody now. Somebody better die. Go kill him, because shit. Scared the fuck out of me.
DARPA is developing a stealth long-shot drone that'll have air-to-air and air-to-ground capability, which is kind of cool. Ah, yes. DARPA. How could I forget about them? Your warehouse full of engineers that are all probably on LSD who just have a bottomless budget to build whatever dumb shit you can think up.
I'm almost pretty sure that the stealth helicopter that was used to take out Osama bin Laden was made by DARPA. I think. Don't quote me, but it's a stealth helicopter. Wrap your brain around that for a second, and yeah, it seems like something DARPA would build, because that's the kind of shit that DARPA makes. A lot of, again, don't quote me here either, but I feel like a lot of shit that the SEALs and Special Forces use also come from DARPA. She just barked at something, and now she's whining about something. I don't know if there's someone here, or if she just has to shit, but she just walked off. Nova!
Damn. I want to say you're wrong, but that's actually a really good synopsis of who those guys are. Anyways, moving forward, we have the Stratcom commander. He's a 4-star. He's claiming that we could have better command and control if we allowed AI within some of our nuclear control sites. That is a terrible fucking idea.
I absolutely agree. Let me go make sure that no one's trying to break into my fucking house, man. Like, hold on. Let's... Tell me, Nova. Tell me. Well, the only explanation is that there's a fucking ghost in my house because the hair on the back of her neck is standing up. She's staring at what clears to be something. She's not fucking happy about it. And I don't know what it is. Because there's literally nothing there. So, guess it's a fucking ghost. I didn't hear anybody knock on the door.
Didn't you make like 5 movies at why that's a horrible idea? Oh yeah, I did. But the AI wouldn't like have control of the system. It would be like user augmented. They would be able to help users. Like they couldn't push the button. Although it might be able to...
Who needs help pushing that button to begin with?
Convince a user to push the button. Wouldn't that be kind of weird? Like Jedi mind trick your way into, the end of the world,
You know, if anyone has ever seen the movie Eagle Eye with Shia LaBeouf, AI integrated fucking anything is a terrible idea, dog. Or maybe it's not. Maybe it won't actually happen like that. But it doesn't matter if it would never happen like that. You have to think of it from this standpoint. What if someone hacked your AI? It's one thing if someone hacks into your network and downs your network, right? It's another thing if someone hacks into your network and now they have full access and control to your network, which I feel would be easier to do with AI than the current methods of Nova. Let me go double check again, because I didn't go downstairs. I don't know, man. Yo, it's cold as fuck here. Like, as fuck.
This is the button you're looking for. You've gone mental. It's not all bad. We did just have some scientists use AI to carry on like a 20-minute conversation with a humpback whale. That was pretty cool. Turns out all he really wanted to talk about was mating in krill. Oh, and the Japanese. He is not a fan of the Japanese. Did you know humpback whales had racial slurs? I learned a few new things.
Don't let a Karen find out, bro. She'll be out there fucking slaughtering humpback whales for being racist and bigots and quite possibly a Trump supporter. Oh, Lord. Ah, shit. Okay. Alright. And check the rest of these. Let's watch this one by Sunny V2.
I'm done spending an obscene amount of money on takeout every week. Done.
I'm getting back on track with fact.
Alright. Good for you. Why, bro? I hate it. Okay. Hawk Tua. The 176 days she'll regret forever. All right. I wonder if everything is said and done now, because I know she had that scam. First order of business after getting undeserved fame is to scam your way back to obscurity and failure. I wonder if that's ran its course or if she's still going, making residual of what she actually made once before. Oh no.
Haley Welch initially seemed to be a genius, turning her meme into a career that made hundreds of thousands of dollars. However, it only lasted 176 days before she realized that success could also be a nightmare. It all began on this channel here, Tim and DTV. They had just 21,000 subscribers, gained from doing street interviews in Nashville, Tennessee, where they'd meet two unknown people who were out having fun, Chelsea Bradford and her friend Haley Welch. With some drinks in their system, they answered basic questions.
How do you get over a breakup?
Only way to get over one is get under another.
Until the interviewer asked 12 words that changed the course of history.
What's one move in bed that makes a man go crazy every time?
Oh, you gotta give him that hawk and spit on that thing. You get me? Hawk and spit on it. Spit on it.
Roughly 2 days later, on the 11th of June 2024.
I mean, dog, it was funny. And I know when I first saw that clip, I was just like, yes. Right on. I support thee. 1,000%. Yes. That girl, I like your spirit. I just didn't think that I didn't think it was gonna snowball into this. And like,
Darius reposted the snippet to his Instagram. Again, he had just a couple thousand followers, yet this didn't stop the algorithm from making the video viral. 18 million views and almost 500.
And you know what's funny? Is like, doesn't it seem like one of those porn videos where it's two girls blowing one dude and one girl is holding the other girl's hair or by the neck or just like pushing her head down, right? And like, isn't it just like, I've seen I've seen this as a template so many times, man. Just in my lifetime of watching porn.
100,000 likes.
It's not gonna get any bigger than this. And I go back like an hour later and the views don't went up by like 1 million. I was like, oh my god, there is no way that just happened.
The clips went
I know, we didn't believe
viral
it
on
either.
TikTok, where everybody clearly loved her. She's a total vibe. Protect this woman at all costs. Hawk Tour for president. However, Haley was disappointed that this didn't translate to income.
Everybody else is making money off of it with merchandise, and he's making money off the videos. I was like, that's not fair. Like, it's me. Why am I not making any money?
It was therefore announced Hawk Tour official. We are selling authorized merchandise representing the Hawk Tour girl, so she is getting part of the proceeds. Get all of your apparel here. Haley had launched her own line of hats, selling for between $30 and $40 each. It took only 9 days before she'd announce, our infamous signed Hawk Tour hats are now sold out, with Rolling Stone therefore reporting Hawk Tour girl has already sold at least $65,000 worth of merch. Even Joe Rogan was keen to buy a piece.
She's making money. There's merch now. There's like Hawk 2 merch. Oh, I need to buy a shirt.
Look at her. She's signing fucking hats.
Only in America.
Only in America.
Showing Haley she was able to commercialize the meme. There was just one problem. Nobody knew who she even was. The only information given was that her name was Haley Welch, which wasn't all that useful as she had no social media.
I was sitting there, I was giggling. I was like, they're like, where is she? I'm like, right here, but you don't know it.
Finding the Hawk Tour girl became a search for millions, with people stating on Instagram Osama bin Laden had less people looking for him. Some believe she was a preschool teacher, while others were certain she worked in a bar. However, both of these rumors were smashed when Haley addressed the public in her first podcast appearance.
I worked in a spring factory. I'm not a school teacher.
That was my next question, because
Or a
everyone said that
bartender.
you were a teacher and got fired from your job.
No, I'm not even old enough to be a teacher.
Haley further revealed she'd been offered some crazy money.
Not old enough to be. How old is she? Because, I mean, we had a teacher's assistant in high school. She was like 23, 22, something. I don't know.
$600 like 3 days ago for me to spit in a jar and sell it. That is revolting.
And as a result, she'd hired herself a social media crew.
You have a full management team. You have a manager now.
Oh,
You have
yeah.
a shooter. She comes in with like this big ass camera. Like she's the real deal. Already, this happened like a week ago.
Yes, ma'am.
But her capitalization began to repulse the audience. An entire management team in a week. Wild. The fact that she already has an entire management team is insane. You made a drunk joke, and the next day you have whole management behind you. This world is crazy. Then help her appear at a Zach Bryan concert.
Ew.
While she began to sell.
Ew. Oh. Yeah. Ugh. Ugh. No. Man. Nah. I never saw that. I would never. I would never. At my concert? At my show? No. 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 Man. And what was it? Luke Bryan, I think? Hold on. No, Zach Bryan. Pretty sure there's a lot of ladies there. I doubt they wanted to see your skimpy ass up there yelling Hawk Tua. And they're with their boyfriends and shit. And like, oh.
Bryan concerts. While she began to sell merch on a much larger scale.
You already have a deal with Spencer's?
That's awesome.
Like every Spencer's everywhere?
What can I go buy at Spencer's of yours?
Hat, shirts.
Hats and shirts, yeah.
She'd become friends with Jake Paul, tried to trademark the Hawk Tour phrase, and was suddenly being followed by TMZ.
Toes. They want pictures of my toes.
They want pictures of your toes?
I don't want to sell pictures of my toes.
No.
Even Eminem used the phrase to promote his new album, whilst more than one person got a Hawk Tour tattoo. She passed 1 million Instagram followers in less than 30 days and was being paid $30,000 just to appear at clubs. However, if you're given success without first going through hell, you'll find that the hell creates itself later. her Instagram comments began to change rapidly. Whilst they once read "she's a national treasure, keep this woman safe," they quickly transformed into
Are you ready for FanDuel's The Great Playoff Payout? Who's in?
That's just...
"This has to stop. This is pathetic. Isn't this embarrassing? Disappointing ass world we live in. Making clowns famous part 1,062. Suddenly she had actual problems to deal with.
I have to convince my pawpaw not to shoot the paparazzi outside of our house every day because they've been camped out here for like 2 weeks.
Creating paranoia on a day-to-day basis.
It's really strange. I can't really go in public by myself anymore. I'm paranoid of getting kidnapped or something.
Because there was a video of you with 5 security guards. Is that because you're paranoid about that?
Yes. And I'm little too, so I mean, I can't really defend myself.
It seems Haley had realized that fame kinda sucks.
What's the worst part about being famous?
Everybody looking at you when you walk into a room.
You don't like that?
No.
Does that feel unsafe a little bit?
Yeah, just a little bit.
Although she continued to take advantage of it. She launched her own fanfics, which is like a safer work OnlyFans, and charged $10 a month to an unknown amount of subscribers. She'd also launched an AI dating app named Pookie Tools, which received amazing reviews such as disgusting. Haley wasn't lying when she answered,
like, what's on the horizon, basically?
I mean, any and everything, I guess.
essentially doing anything that offered her a paycheck. This was further proven by the Talk to Her podcast, launched as a vehicle to promote Jake Paul's gambling company. The podcast was so terrible even Jake Paul himself roasted it.
Why did you decide to start Talk to Her?
It's just stuff that has never been talked about in modern history. Scientific, historic, revolutionary wisdom. It just...
What the fuck are you talking about? What about anything you just said would lead you to believe that Haley could have those kinds of conversations with fucking anyone, aside from Neil deGrasse Tyson, where he does all the talking and she says nothing? What? Oh. I just lost brain cells, man.
Paul's gambling company. The podcast was so terrible even Jake Paul himself roasted it.
Why did you decide to start Talk to Her?
It's just stuff that has never been talked about in modern history. Scientific, historic, revolutionary wisdom. It's
Are you being facetious? Tell me you're being facetious. Are you being sarcastic?
just an honor to be pushing humanity forward in that type of way.
However, the Talk to Her comments were absolutely golden.
I think he was, I hope he was being...
My phone was at 1% when this was posted. I unplugged my grandma's life support to charge it. This podcast truly changed my life. Currently fighting on the front lines in Ukraine, and everyone has called truce to watch Ep 1 of the Talk to Her podcast.
I think he was just being facetious, and he was just being condescending. I think. He portrayed it very well. And the reason I believed it is because Jake's kind of an idiot. In my opinion, all kind of, really. Well, let me take that back. I wouldn't put it past him believing something like that. You know what I'm saying? I got it though now. I'm pretty sure that was just him being facetious. Oof.
Amen. I have stayed clean from drugs for over 30 years. Thank you, Talk to Her, for making me start again. These same trolls have given it an almost perfect IMDb score, calling the podcast a genre-defining masterpiece, yet the show's quality is better summarized by its crazy amount of dislikes. Haley's reputation clearly wasn't great, so when she'd host an episode with Mark Cuban, she probably should have avoided the following touchy subject.
Do you do anything with crypto?
Yeah, I do a lot with crypto, actually. I've got a shit ton of Bitcoin and Ethereum.
Going back to the point of doing anything for money, it seems Haley was paid to shout out cryptocurrency.
So after I saw Michael Saylor speak at the Bitcoin conference, I have decided to start putting some money into crypto, and I just want to say, oh my God, thank you so much, Mr. Saylor.
And was more than willing to make her own token.
If I want to meme coin, can I give you some tokens?
Yeah, I'll give you my wallet.
Okay.
But are you sure you're gonna launch? I don't know. I'm not a big fan about meme coins.
She'd take to Twitter showing her favorite wrote meme coins, announcing a Huck to a token was also coming soon. Well, on the 4th of December 2024, 176 days after she first went viral, Haley officially launched it.
My Hawk meme coin is live!
Despite calling it the Huck to a meme coin, its website reassured the audience Huck isn't just a meme coin, it's part of the culture. Haley is using her meme to unite her entire community. However, community notes instantly clarified. 96% of the Huck coin supply is in 10 connected addresses before the launch.
That's funny. 10 connected addresses before the launch. I wonder how many of those addresses belong to Haley herself, her management team, and just people that are on the in.
Essentially meaning just 10 people controlled the coin's price. When a user suggested the coin was likely a scam, Haley responded by stating fake news, but appreciate you trying to protect the community. However, it didn't take long before tweets started appearing. Lost 85% of an £1,100 investment. I lost 10k, bro, I got rugged. Just lost 286k on
Jesus fucking Christ.
this. Don't trust MetaMask wallets. Haley's co-creator called these people mentally ill.
There's a lot of negativity in the space. I think
Oh yeah, I remember this. And then this dude got obliterated by fucking Charlie.
crypto brings the mentally ill into this thing. If you guys are in crypto, you're most likely mentally ill. It's just a bunch of miserable people trying to farm engagement and hate.
With Haley herself blaming the losses on something they
The only reason, we went over this. The only reason he said that is because he was just mad that they got caught, really. And he's like, no, we're not doing anything illegal. It's just y'all are just fucking mentally ill and y'all don't know what the fuck's going on. We're trying to keep it positive over here. The only people we're trying to keep it positive for is ourselves, because there's nothing positive for you to be gained here.
they couldn't control.
We got snipe botted today, but we didn't sell a single token. But I just want to say, screw the sniper bots, and I'm not going anywhere.
CoffeeZilla joined and called the project.
This is one of the most miserable, horrible launches I've ever seen in my life.
Okay, then why the fuck are you on?
Questioning how much money each founder made.
Someone just made over $1 million on fees. Who made it?
The creator.
Which is who?
That belongs to the project.
Who's the project? Who is the project?
Haley Welch, right?
This is the worst tokenomics I've ever seen, and it is a scam.
It's not a scam.
The tokenomics are a scam. You can say whatever you want about it. You can cry defamation. That's my opinion. It's a scam.
As the pressure mounted, Haley disappeared.
I hate to interrupt you, Nick, but anywho, I'm gonna go to bed, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Only brought back by a class
I think Homegirl's still in bed.
action lawsuit launched by a dozen plaintiffs who claim to have collectively lost more than $150,000. To Haley's credit, she took responsibility, stating if you've experienced losses related to this, please contact Berwick Law. Furthermore, it seems she had no idea exactly what she was getting into, although it's still her fault if she
she still incurs the risk because it's her name, it's her face, and you hired the wrong people, man. And you got a management team way too soon, dog. Like, I don't even think PewDiePie had a management team. At any point in his career, correct me if I'm wrong, but that was just one guy and a camera and some video games and a funny personality and hundreds of millions of subscribers. And I don't know, man, like you just you tried to fast track it to you flew straight to the sun. Man, you know that saying, you got too close to the sun? That was your first order of business. That was your first order of business. A trip straight to the fucking sun, man. You got rich and famous along the way, but that it was just, there was nothing in between. You didn't even slow down to appreciate the scenery and the situation and your life and the change in lifestyle, income, notoriety, all that stuff. You didn't even the quote I'm looking for is, you didn't stop to smell the roses. You just went straight for the grand prize. You went straight for the gold pot on the other side of the rainbow, but you didn't even do the quest correctly, man. This is like you're playing a video game and you're blowing through all the fucking story missions, but not one time did you stop to do any of the side missions, any of the side quests, any of the shit that could have given you all the knowledge and the gear that you would need to slay that final boss. Instead, you blow through you blow through the story hella fast, you get to the final boss only to realize, oh shit, I'm not ready for this. I should have like actually stopped and like, did shit along the way that would have mattered, right? And now you're right back to where you started. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a prime example, and this just goes hand in hand with people that win the lottery. When you're not ready to handle that much money, when it just gets dumped into your lap, and it's the first time that you've ever even seen that much money, what do you think's gonna happen, guys? You're gonna go broke. Most of them do, because that's just the way it is. Think of it in the form of athletics. You got these kids that go to high school and go to college, and not one time do they ever teach them how to open up a bank account. Not one time do they ever teach them how to set up an escrow account. Not one time do they teach them how to even come close to managing their money, right? And then they get thrust into the NFL. They get thrust into the NBA. They start making $40 million, and they have no idea how to work it. And hopefully they're really good at basketball. Hopefully they don't get injured, because if they only spend 3 years in the league, but they blew through all their money, well, guess what? They're right back to where they were before they even got drafted in the first place. They're right back to where they were in high school. Broke as shit, right? So, do you know why millionaires say millionaires? Is because they went through the grind, man. They went through the struggle. They earned that money. They know what it's like to have to make money. They know what it's like to lose money, right? And they've made the bad decisions. They've worked, bro. It's like a foundation. You can't just go from nobody to the body overnight, bro. The only way that works is in a mobile game. We've all seen it. We've all seen the mobile games, right? Where you could just go from a fucking nothing to just like a boss, right? In like 3 days. Maybe buy like a microtransaction for like 99 cents, right? Real life doesn't work that way. There's building blocks to this stuff, man. And when you're not ready to be at the highest block, you will fall. You will falter. You will fail. That's just because she pulled a Nancy Pelosi and Martha Stewart shit. To this day, I still don't know what Martha Stewart is guilty of. I thought that she was just guilty of wearing white after Labor Day. But Vince, what's going on? They didn't even tell Aaron Hernandez not to kill people. Yeah. But that's just something that you shouldn't have to be told by your football coach, Ashley. You know what I mean? That's why nobody felt bad for that guy. So, and yes, Vince, I know you put something on the list. I seen you. That too, Jeff. But you know what I'm talking about. If you learned how to become a millionaire, once you become a millionaire, you can stay a millionaire because you learned how to get there and you learned how to stay there. What you said is true as well, but you know what I'm saying? If you don't know what it takes to be a millionaire and you never became one, how do you know how to handle that? How do you even begin to guys, think of it this way. Some guy walks up to me and says, "Listen, I got no one else to give it to. You're the first person I ran into all day. Here is all of my racehorses. I want you to have them." And I take his racehorses. Guys, I've never raced a fucking horse in my life. I don't know fuck about that. I don't know anything. He just gave me $3.7 million worth of horses. Racing horses. Pure thoroughbred, amazing ass shit. He gives it to me. Yet, I have no clue about how that world works. What do you think's gonna happen with these horses? What do you think's gonna happen with me? Well, I'm just a guy with a lot of horses. That's it. Because if I take my ass to the Kentucky Derby with these horses, with my zero knowledge of this business and this industry, well, I'll probably lose my horses in a bad bet, or my horses will die, or they'll be malnourished, or they won't be ready for the race. They'll lose, and then there you go. You see what I'm saying? If you're not ready for this type of, it won't work, man. This is it. I keep going back to the example of the person winning the lottery. It's in the 90s, but a high 90% of people that win the lottery, bro, they go broke because they just don't know. They do stupid shit, like leaving $200,000 in cash in your passenger seat, in the passenger seat of your car, and then someone breaks the window and steals it. Like, I mean, it's just it's stupid. It's stupid. People just don't know. And with Haley, she wasn't ready to be here. That's the problem when you make people that shouldn't be famous famous. They're not ready for that. But I think that she just trusted the wrong people, and the wrong people took advantage of the fact that she was naive, the fact that she didn't know anything, and that's also a factor that plays into this. I bet you she's mad as hell at the people that she trusted, because now she's got to deal with it, right? So she was dumb, naive, didn't know anything about how this world works, didn't know anything about how management team works, didn't know anything about how people will behave around you when there's a lot of money involved, didn't know anything about, like, fuck, man, like, she's like a small town country girl, bro, thinking that everyone that is nice to her is going to always be nice and have her best interest. She got played, man, at the end of the day. And yeah, she's to blame, but I'd like to believe that she got played, bro, because when you're young, you're naive, you don't know, you're not knowledgeable about these things, nor are you knowledgeable about how humans can be to one another, and especially the business of entertainment, which is cutthroat as fuck. And the business of being on the internet, you're hot one day, you're nobody the next, right? So she didn't know any of these things, and that's it. Shit. All right. Check the. Where's the. Okay. All right. David, you changed your video to a shorter video, but you're dead set on me watching something about creationists, huh? I still don't know what that means. You really want me to watch something about creationists? I have no clue what that means, but we'll do it. Okay. Professor Dave explains. Tucker Carlson is a creationist tool. Wait, I think I know Professor Dave. Professor Dave is always... He's the guy... I like this guy. He's the guy that's always... I'm pretty sure, right? He's always debunking stupid flat earthers. I'm almost pretty sure. And I think I've seen him do it. I think I've seen a couple of his videos. Maybe. I'm not sure. I know, David, but is this a... I doubt I'll be able to give any thoughts on this, bro. I don't know what a creationist is, and if this is about religion, prepare for me to say absolutely shit, because I don't care. So, let's see.
Guys, be kind to your cheeks. Manscaped just released their new electric foil shaver, and a
Hey everyone, most of you are aware of my distaste for science deniers of all varieties, but I also can't stand far-right political pundits who spew conspiratorial tripe to amass followers and fortune. Tucker Carlson is one such tool, but what can I do as a science communicator to address him? Let's take a look. Tucker recently went on Joe Rogan's podcast where he spent 3 hours saying all the insane things you would assume he'd say. But he also
I've never seen this podcast.
Spent some time regurgitating anti-evolution Christian
I've seen the Joe Rogan podcast. I just never seen that episode.
apologetics. This has become one of my specialties as of late, so why don't we do a little analysis of that portion of the podcast?
Artificial intelligence that has the ability to utilize all the information that every human being has on Earth at a level of computing that's far beyond the capabilities of the human mind and all of our supercomputers that currently exist, because it'll design much better computers. It'll use quantum computers. It'll have the ability to recode things and change things. It'll make better versions of itself. So instead of biological evolution, which is very slow. It takes a long time, relatively. It's pretty quick, really, when you think about it. Like how long, it's not that long to go from being a single-celled organism to being a human being flying a plane, really, relatively, over the course of 1 billion years, if you think about how long the universe has been around. But it's slow compared to technological evolution. I mean, 100 years ago, we didn't have shit. And now we could send videos from your phone and it'll hit New Zealand in a second. It's crazy. The stuff that we have now is beyond imagination. It's essentially magic for people 100 years ago.
Joe is talking about some slightly stonery but legitimately interesting futurism stuff here, and tees up the concept of biological evolution as a comparison, explaining that it's very slow, but clearly articulating the point that nature went from single-celled life forms to modern humans in under 1 billion years.
I mean, to call it slow. If you think about the cosmic calendar, this shit happened in a blink of an eye. But whatever. I really don't know what we're talking about yet.
Which is correct. Then Joe says that artificial life will become so advanced that it will be like a god.
If that keeps going, it's ultimately going to lead to a life form. And if that life form has now untethered, it doesn't have any problems with biological evolution. Now it's just about information and implementing the technology that's available and then increasing that technology and making it better and better. It essentially becomes a god.
But that doesn't make it a god in the sense that the machine, however powerful it is, any more than a backhoe is a god because it can dig a trench faster than 100 men. It is still something that people created.
Tucker twists it around and says it won't be God because we made it, which isn't the point, and then lightly fearmongers a bit regarding AI. That aspect is not terribly relevant or worth discussing, so let's get to the science denial. Is that okay with you, Tuck?
I mean, you know what I mean? Like,
awesome, here we go.
If evolution is real, and if there is this constant...
Tucker asks if evolution is real, so he might as well be a flat earther claiming that gravity isn't real.
I don't know, but it's visible. Like you can measure it in certain animals.
Joe says we can observe it, which we absolutely can and do every day, so evolution is objectively real. Let's see how this unfolds.
You can measure adaptation.
Yeah.
But there's no evidence that evolution. In fact, I think we've kind of given up.
I believe in evolution. I mean, and if it isn't in the way that it just naturally happens via time, then it's an outside source that caused said evolution. I mean, think about the asteroid that hit the Earth 75 million years ago. That caused a whole bunch of evolution. And one could say that without that asteroid, we wouldn't even exist. Man. We wouldn't, because dinosaurs existed for hundreds of millions of years before that asteroid even hit the planet. So it's safe to assume that they would have roamed for hundreds of million years continuously after had that asteroid not hit the planet. Which means if that asteroid doesn't hit Earth, we don't exist, guys. I don't know if y'all ever thought about that, but like, think about it. If the asteroid that killed the dinosaurs doesn't hit, we don't exist. Because dinosaurs existed for hundreds of millions of years prior to that impact. There was nothing that was going to knock them off their trajectory on this planet. An outside force did. A fucking asteroid. Right? So, and when that happened, a whole bunch of things evolved. Where do you think the chicken came from? That was a dinosaur back then, bro. The cockroach, that was something back then. Like even marine life evolved after the fact, right? So if animals evolve, we sure as hell did too, to a degree. However, I will say, if we evolved from monkeys, what about the monkeys that are still monkeys? That always kind of got me, and I just think it's funny to say. If we evolved from monkeys, what's wrong with those other monkeys? Why did they never evolve? Did they say fuck it? We'll stay on this side, or did they never get a chance, or did evolution just hit pause? Right? Like, okay, no more of that. We have enough to where we can make them our own. We don't need to evolve from these things anymore. Right? Or maybe it was just like a couple hundred evolved. And then that evolution just spawned another evolution of human and another evolution of human. Because it goes like what? Homo genus, Homo erectus, Homo habilis, and shit like that. So it was different iterations. So it's a ridiculous statement to say, like, why is there still monkeys? I just like saying it because it's funny and it pisses people off sometimes because they get like bug-eyed. But yeah, it was probably just like a couple of fucking monkeys that evolved into a couple of fucking humans on some enlightenment type shit, and then that just snowballed into the humans that we are right now. Right? So evolution did happen, whether it happens in the way that you think, or in the manner that you think, or in the how you see it in your head, that's debatable. But
up on the idea of evolution, the theory of evolution as articulated by Darwin is like kind of not true.
Pack it up, fellas. Every biologist in the world is wrong and dumb because this guy says so. That's right. In one sentence, he reveals his profound stupidity.
I think that Tucker Carlson just likes... I've never heard any of these conversations. I didn't know any of that. The only things I watch about Tucker, bro, is like the funny shit when he's making fun of people. Or like when he's, I don't know, chastising somebody for saying something ridiculous. I usually catch it in shorts. I never watched the Tucker Carlson show. I know I watched one interview that he did with somebody of importance. I think it was Donald Trump. That's about it. I don't watch Tucker Carlson like that enough to know that he says these things. I have nothing wrong with I have nothing against the theory of evolution. I subscribe to that theory. I just like that little monkey bit because it's funny. But still.
In first regurgitating the creationist trope that evolutionary biology is nothing but the utterances of a 19th...
And no, this isn't about religion at all. I thought it was going to be about religion because it said creationist. But maybe creationist... It's not a religion. Creationists are just the people that talk about evolution and the beginning of us. How things were created. Hence the name creationist. Maybe that's what it means. Trying to put two and two together.
century prophet instead of a thriving field that has grown immensely and would be totally unrecognizable to Darwin, and also that somehow we've given up on evolution, when in reality literally nothing in the entire field of biology is discussed outside of an evolutionary framework. We went from 0 to 60 on Tucker's stupidometer in a single sentence.
Kind of not true. Right?
In what sense?
Now, a lot of people hate Joe.
Why?
I bet some of you watching hate Joe. I don't. I acknowledge that his platform is problematic and he's part of the obnoxious anti-woke mob, but there is merit to breaking down echo chambers, and I've seen him push back on questionable guests, even aggressively.
Yes,
Sometimes
I
his
have to.
personal biases cause him to deny certain aspects of science, thereby empowering a guest, and the result is the propagation of dangerous misinformation. Other times, he has a different kind of science denier on, smells bullshit, and just asks questions until they say something stupid. It's the best he can do given his lack.
I think that Joe Rogan is like most of us, really. He brings on all these people that claim that they're geniuses and they're smart, and maybe they are, right? But I feel like Joe is like the rest of. I feel like Joe is what we would all be if we were in his position. Like, we would ask you questions, but if you say something that is kind of absurd, we're going to ask you to explain and elaborate, unlike other places that they won't ask you to explain and elaborate at all. They'll just let you say some random, wild, ridiculous, untrue shit, and then just keep moving with the program and just act like what you said was actually true. So, at least I'm not like that at all. I will ask you, man. I will inquire. Explain. Why is that true? Why is it wrong? I just Googled it, man, and what you just said is not true in the slightest. I will do that. So, well, a lot of people like Joe, but I don't really see it problematic.
Lack of expertise, and in this moment, that's what he settles on. In what sense have
Like, Joe Rogan is not smart by a determined metric. He's just an inquirer. That's it. If you look at Joe Rogan like that, then you might. And if you don't like Joe Rogan and you simply look at him like that, then you might like him. Don't even look at him as someone. Don't look at Joe Rogan as an intellectual, man. Don't look at Joe Rogan in the same light that you would look at Jordan Peterson. Okay? No. Joe Rogan is just an inquirer. That's it. He asks questions. And if you give an answer that doesn't really jive, then he'll call you out on it. Think of him as an inquirer. Don't think of him as someone that you can get actual, tangible information like you would from like a scientist or a physicist or like if you were talking to Neil deGrasse or some shit, right? Joe Rogan is simply an inquirer. He inquires. He asks questions. He's in the pursuit of knowledge. And there's nothing wrong with that, but some people get caught up too much with Joe Rogan. They're just like, Joe Rogan's not as smart as he thinks he is. Well, yeah, duh. Obviously. We all know that. Joe Rogan is the average intelligence of all of us. Man, he's, at least that's how I see him. I see him just like one of us, just an average, normal, logical thinking dude that sometimes has his own biases, but who doesn't have their own biases, right?
we given up on evolution, Tucker?
Well, in the most basic sense, the idea that, all life emerged from a single cell organism and over time, and there would be a fossil record of that, and there's not.
All right, Gabby from Vegas, let's go ahead and back your concentrate order. So our brownie batter went back in stock today, and so...
I wasn't listening. Let me go back.
Well, in the most basic sense, the idea that, all life emerged from a single cell organism and over time, and there would be a fossil record of that, and there's not.
Oh.
Bro, I mean, think of a butterfly, Tucker. That butterfly came from a caterpillar. Can you find proof of that butterfly coming from a caterpillar? No, but we know because we've seen it, right? What are you talking about? There's no evidence of us coming from single-celled organisms, bro. That's because those single-celled organisms no longer exist, Tucker. those single-celled organisms turned into people. They turned into animals. They turned into mammals. They turned into stuff. We're talking about single-celled organisms, man. Shit that has to be seen through a microscope. We're not talking about dinosaur fossils. Like, the single-celled organisms evolved into, oh man, why don't we have any fossil record of Pikachu? He evolved into Raichu, bro. Like, what are you talking about? Where the hell is Bulbasaur? We can't find him anymore. He's Blastoise. I don't know what you're saying, Tucker.
Oh, there's no fossil record, Tuck? Then what about the fossil record? Have you looked into the fossil record to see stromatolites pertaining to unicellular life billions?
Oh, would you look at that? There is proof. But if you can't find any, Tucker, then, I mean, there's a reason for that. Because what it evolves into, I don't
years ago, and then Ediacaran fauna, and then utterly countless forms generating clearly traceable evolutionary paths over every eon.
I think that Tucker is getting caught up on the little fucking thing that you can see through a microscope. And that's exactly what I thought he was talking about. I didn't think that he was talking about this because this is so easy to find. Well, I'm not an archaeologist or anything, but or a digger or a, oh, is it archaeologist? This is part of archaeology, right? Or is archaeology just for the dinosaurs? Anyways. Technically, it could be considered geology. You find this shit in rock. Geologists deal with rocks. But I thought that he was talking about the shit that's like just naked and invisible to the human eye. I thought that's what he was talking about. We don't have any records of these single-celled organisms that are just like, you know, because this is where it started, Tucker. Maybe even smaller than that. I don't even think I can put my fingers together that closely. That's how it started, Tucker, and then it evolved into that, and then things got bigger and evolved into us. And, you know, it... Otherwise, what's the alternative? That's what I'd like to know. What's the alternative to evolution? I've only ever believed one thing. It's paleontology. That's what it is.
Of geological history leading up to extant life? Because if you haven't seen that, a thing which objectively exists, maybe you shouldn't go on an enormous podcast and pretend that it doesn't exist.
That's weird.
There's not a fossil record of transitionary species, like species that are adapting to its environment.
There's
and they
tons
develop...
of record of adaptation, and you see it in your own life. I mean, I have a lot of dogs. I see adaptation in dogs, you know, through the...
Sure.
Joe pushes back lightly since he is at least somewhat aware that there are countless transitional species in the fossil record, meaning that Tucker is full of shit. Tucker just comes back with, there's tons of record of adaptation, which is exactly what...
Oh, is that what it is? Is that what it is? Ugh. Ugh. Evolution can't be true because my religion, wah, wah, wah. My beliefs, wah, wah, wah. And if this is true, that means that what I believe can't be true, wah, wah, wah. Why don't you just go ahead and say it, Tucker? I know you want to. There's no record of that in the Bible. He's like one step away from saying that, if that's the case. Jesus. God. I guess I was just, I was meant for a life of not being a religious person, bro, because I love scientific fact. I love science. I love learning about the universe. I love learning about the world. I love learning about galaxies, and I love hearing physicists speak, and I love hearing scientists explain shit, right? And not many of those fuckers believe in God either, right? Maybe that was my calling, and I just never pulled the trigger on that opportunity. Right, to be a scientist, because I've never been into what Tucker's into. I'm not a religious person. I never have been. I've been more of a look for answers in a tangible, physical way kind of person. It's just how I am. So, if that's the reason why you're denying something that clearly exists, just so it won't destroy your pre-established belief of God, then wake me up when this fucking video's over.
What he just said doesn't exist. Organisms adapt to fit new evolutionary niches or in response to changing environmental stimuli, producing new morphologies as the result of many successive speciation events. Adaptation is part of evolution, you nitwit. Of course, he doesn't even understand the sentence he just spoke.
Yeah, so, for instance, I can't even give you an example at the moment and regurgitate it, but there's so many animals that, you know what adaptation means, Tucker? It means, when I think of adaptation, I think of defense mechanism. Defense mechanisms is what I think of with adaptation. And what is what is a defense mechanism? That is you learning from something that happened to you that was very, very bad, right? And what is that? What's it called when you learn? When you enlighten yourself to a new way of protecting yourself, or to a new way of living, or to a new way of surviving? That's called evolution. You evolve, man. And there's plenty, hundreds of ways to evolve. So think of any animal that does something. A porcupine, man, that's a defense mechanism. I don't know if a porcupine's always been able to do that, but I don't know, quite possibly think back to the first porcupine. Maybe he couldn't do that. And maybe that's a bad example, but there's animals that can be referenced right now, and I don't have time to do it, that at one point they didn't have a specific feature. And then some time down the road, they now had a specific feature that either helped them eat, or helped them run, or helped them move better, or helped them fly faster, or helped them fly higher, or helped them scout their food better, or just adaptation, man. Evolving. The times change, the weather changes. When the fucking geese fly south for the winter, adaptation. They've evolved to the weather, man, and they will continue to evolve, just like everything continues to evolve. Just like society evolves. Have you noticed, Tucker, that we're not riding horses and carriage? Evolution, man, adaptation. It's in our world every single day, and that's how it started. You probably can't see it now because it's probably moving slower. Or you probably can't notice it now because there's so much around you, right? Everything's amplified, but if you remove all the noise and the bullshit and your weird thoughts, then you'll be able to see that.
So he immediately pivots to modern dogs, which are specifically not the product of adaptation, but rather artificial selection. So it's literally the worst example he could choose. Okay, Tuck, let's talk about dogs.
Wolves, man. But you think dogs just like started off as dogs? No, man. These wolves, I feel, big pack animals. Maybe one got lost. Maybe a little pup, right? And think back to the beginning of time, guys. Think back to the first. Think back. Just think back. Think back very far. If we're talking about dogs, think back very far. Do you think that the first dog was a dog, or do you think that it was a wolf or something bigger or something more massive? What's another dog-like thing aside from a wolf, right? Think about it. Back in the day, these animals aren't like they are right now, man. I truly believe that dogs were not like, think back, dude. Wolves, coyotes, like these really big animals that maybe one guy found a puppy. He found a puppy wolf or a coyote or some of these big four-legged creatures, right? And he domesticated it. Maybe this domesticated wolf went and mated with another female wolf that wasn't domesticated, and they had a puppy. And that puppy did other stuff, and that had more babies and more puppies and more this and more that, to eventually where the wolf bloodline was so watered down that boom,
Now you have dogs. Wolves still exist. Wolves are the old, long-lost prime ancestors of dogs. That's what I believe. So, your little fucking Yorkie just didn't pop up one day, bro. That's not how it happened.
No, there's no evidence at all zero, that, people, evolve seamlessly from a single cell amoeba. No, there's not. There's no chain in the fossil record of that at all.
Never mind, no dogs after all, just back to reiterating the same baseless incredulity. Yes, there is completely insurmountable evidence that precisely that did happen. There is so much evidence, in fact, that analysis of this evidence is broken up into completely different fields of science. Anthropologists study the enormous variety of hominid species that diverged from our most recent common ancestor with other extant apes, and also even farther back with more primitive primate forms. On a broader scale, paleontologists study fossilized remnants of plants and animals.
And another reason that I've always been more of a fan and more of a believer in science than anything else. Here's a big reason. Everything in science can be proven. You tell me something, and I ask you why and how, and you can give me an answer. I ask Tucker something about why and how, he's just going to refer me to the Bible. Or tell me a story. And then if I ask him if that story's true, or where's the proof of it, he's just going to say, have faith. I'm not a faithful person. I don't go off faith. I don't go off good feelings. I don't go off of that warm little fuzzy feeling in my stomach or in my heart or in my knee or in my nutsack. I don't go off that. I go off of prove it to me, and then we can continue finding out more information that's also true, that we can also prove to be true, that we also have proof of being true, right? I like concrete. I don't like when shit's written in the sand, and to me, that's religion, when comparatively to science. To me, for the most part, science is written in stone. That's it. Unless some really smart guy comes along and proves that shit to be untrue, and then guess what? Once he proves it to be untrue, you know what that guy has? He has the right answer. So we replace a false answer or a wrong answer that we did believe to be true, which has happened over the course of science before and scientific study, and then we just replace it with the right answer. There's always an answer. I never get answers from the other side, but I can always get answers from a scientist or a physicist or an archaeologist or an anthropologist or a geologist or a paleontologist or a doctor. But the other side, they just say, have faith. That's not the way my brain works. I'm sorry. Sorry, Tucker. That's not the way my brain works. I wouldn't be true to myself if I operated that way. My brain cannot let me go along with that. My brain cannot allow me to ignore something to be true because of something else that might be true. And there's no way of proving that that other thing might be real. But I know this right here to be 100% legit. You know what I'm saying? I can't just suspend right answers for the possibility of something else maybe yielding an answer that I may like. No, I can't do that. I can't do that. Sorry.
Animals over hundreds of millions of years, each specializing in a particular era or a particular phylogenetic taxon. If you'd ever bothered to get off your ass and learn something, you would have found that all of this information is very easily accessible to you, and you wouldn't say something so profoundly stupid for millions of people to hear.
And that's why you don't actually hear people, you hear them make reference to evolution because the theory of adaptation is clearly, obviously true.
There is no theory of adaptation, genius. That's not a thing. Adaptation is an evolutionary process.
It's automatic, man. It's not a theory, dog. It's not a theory. Dude. So, do y'all ever wonder, when y'all see pictures of like early humans, do y'all ever wonder why their head was shaped that? Actually, not their head. Their head wasn't that bad. Do you ever wonder why their face was so big? Their cheekbones were really high. Their jaw was really wide. Their face was just like, compared to what we look like now, their faces were oddly shaped. Do you want to know why? They had more teeth than we do. Do you want to know why? Because the meat that they ate back then was thicker meat, bro. They were eating woolly mammoths. They were eating shit that was just like thick, man. And that was their diet. And lots of times they had to chew through this, man. So before they made fire, they had to chew through this shit. So why do you think that early humans have such a big jawline? They had more teeth. They had to chew more. In the modern world, whenever we started processing our food and cutting up the chicken and cutting up the steak and all that stuff, evolution, bro, just naturally, we don't look like that anymore. Have you noticed, Tucker? Have you noticed that we don't look like those people? We don't look like the Homo habilis and the Homo sapien and all that stuff. We don't look like them anymore. Our canine teeth, that's the last remnant of who we used to be. We used to have more teeth. Our canines used to be longer. They used to be bigger. They used to be thicker so that we could chew and cut through the food that we were eating at that time. We don't have to do that anymore. We got chefs. We got steak knives. We got utensils. We got fire, right? We have all these things. And when we got those things, what do you think happened to the human body? It changed. It evolved. It started to adapt to a new way of eating, to a new way of hunting, to a new way of surviving, to a new way of living. Do you understand this, Tucker? Like, bruh.
Saying adaptation happens, you are saying evolution happens. If Joe were better equipped to handle this buffoon, he would have asked what Tucker thinks the difference is between adaptation and evolution, and how adaptation occurs mechanistically on the molecular and cellular level, at which point Tucker would shit his pants and change the subject.
But Darwin's theories totally that's why it's still a theory almost 200 years later. No, we have not found that at all.
And of course, it's not a conversation with a science-denying moron without this.
It's so funny how these people will shit all over a theory, yet believe in God. How can you even do that? How disingenuous can you be? Because there is no proof of your God either. I hate to tell you, bro, and have all the faith, and I'm glad you have faith, and I'm glad that you have the Lord, but there's no more proof of that than what the fuck you're calling bullshit on, Tucker. It's just a theory. So is your God. What are we talking about? Because you always say have faith, right? At least we got answers on this side. At least we're trying to get answers on this side. All I ever hear from your side is, and have faith. It's God's plan. Yet there's no more proof of that than anything else. So how can you be so disingenuous and so closed-minded?
Still a theory script. Theories do not ever become anything other than theories under any circumstances ever, no matter how well corroborated they are, and evolution by natural selection is as corroborated as any theory can be. That's why every biologist in the world would laugh in your face if they heard you say any of this, just like any chemist would laugh in your face if you called atomic theory into question.
Evolution by natural selection. That's what it is. And on land, at least, humans are at the top of the evolutionary food chain. Could you imagine if a goddamn tiger or a lion had opposable thumbs? We'd be in trouble. Some of us would be in trouble. But, dude, Evolution by natural selection. Evolution, just the evolutionary food chain, man. What do we have that every other mammal on this planet doesn't? What do we have? We have these and this. And say what you will about a fucking orca. I know they're smart, but human beings are smarter than any other living thing on this planet. Our species, we're smarter than any other species on this planet. Maybe there is a species that's not human that's smarter than us, but guess what? They can't build the Eiffel Tower because they don't have these. They can't build a world. They can't build the Taj Mahal because they don't have these. They can't build weapons of mass destruction because they don't have these, right? You understand? And then the monkey has these, but he also doesn't have the capability that we do up here. So, I mean, naturally, bro, if we didn't evolve and we didn't adapt to the world and the environment, then we wouldn't be at the top of the food chain. We'd be getting fucked up by sloths right now. And goddamn, like, and fucking panda bears. Panda bears would be beating our ass right now if we just did not have a sentient brain, dude, which is just part of our evolution.
And I can't even guess. I mean, I have my own theories on it, but they're not proven.
Oh, Tuck, the little amateur scientist, has his own theories that are more consistent with observation than 200 years of biological research he is clueless about. But of course, they aren't proven.
What are your theories?
God created people, distinctly.
Joe wants to know Tucker's theory, which of course isn't a theory at all. It's just God did it.
Okay. But so how did it happen? Tucker, you can't get something from nothing. Okay? You can't get something from nothing. All right? Well, that's a lie. If I rub my hands together, I create friction, which creates heat. But do you know what I'm saying? You can't get a full human being from nothing. What happened, Tucker? Did God just go and just like a cartoon, you're just like, bloop? Oh, well, this is different. I was in a really dark room just now, and then I'm here. Don't really know where to go from here. I guess I don't, Tucker.
Tucker is a creationist. God went blippity zappity doo and humans appeared.
Yeah, bro, no. I've heard scientists talk about this thing called the God gene or something. The God gene. And there's certain ways that like scientists and like scholars have explained the existence of God, which at the end of the day I still didn't care for, but for some odd reason it made more sense than all of the other stuff in the Bible. Right? This thing called the God gene, like they gave some kind of credence to an external creator, but just in a scientific way. And I can't even repeat it at the moment, but to suggest that a motherfucker just materialized, man, and no other motherfucker over the course of time has ever been able to replicate that result, or that.
Adam and Eve from dust and a rib, most likely, since humans are made of dust and rib.
And animals.
Wait, and animals too? God made all the animals super special? When was that exactly? And all the fossils of extinct species we find in the ground, when did those get there? Were they once alive animals? Why did he make millions of species just to kill them? Were those whoopsie-doopsie experiments he didn't like, so he got rid of them? That's totally what omniscient, omnipotent deities do all the time.
I mean, I think that's I think what every person on Earth thought until the mid-19th century, actually.
Right, but
it's not a new idea.
You're right, Tucker. It's not a new idea at all. It's what everybody thought until we figured out what really happened with science.
Yeah.
Kind of like how everyone thought the Earth was the center of the solar system until we figured out that it isn't. And then...
Yeah. Reminds me of that quote. Not even a quote, it's a line from the first Men in Black movie. He's like 500 years ago, people were certain that the Earth was the center of the universe. Or no, that the sun was the center of the universe. And then 100 years ago, people thought that the Earth was the center of the universe. And 5 minutes ago, you thought that you were alone on this planet. Imagine what you'll know tomorrow. Science, man. Science. And while I also don't agree that we should be giving our home address and a fucking how to get here to other fucking quite possibly sentient, advanced, intelligent beings, alien beings, I think that's kind of fucking stupid, but still.
That disease was incantations and demons until we figured out that it isn't. And that lightning was angry Zeus on a cloud until we figured out that it isn't. You're saying that old ignorance is more correct than real modern knowledge because you say so, and giggling like a schoolgirl about it.
I mean, you know what I mean? Like,
they didn't have computers. They didn't have a general understanding that we have today of the
And you can't call them idiots. You can't call them stupid. They were unenlightened, bro. It was a different time. It's okay for them to have believed all that stuff with the deities and Zeus and what we know to be comic book characters today. People back then believed these things to be actual gods of real, like, you should worship, right, and pray to, and all this stuff, right? And it's just like, no, we got away from that because, you know.
Process.
Do you think we understand more now?
Yes.
Really?
You don't think that we understand more today?
We understand way less.
Joe offers a diluted version of what I just said. Those people were ignorant. Now we know more things. But of course, Tuck has another hot take. We understand less today than we did hundreds of years ago. We have planes and trains and rockets and the internet, but we know less than when we couldn't make those things. We have deep comprehension.
Remember, well, I don't remember because I wasn't alive, but I'm sure there was a time where people used to smoke cigarettes while they were pumping gas. You remember those times, Tucker? I don't remember those times, but I'm pretty sure that happened. People used to smoke cigarettes while pumping gas. And, you know, like, 30 deaths, 15 third-degree burns later, 17 victims later, society came to the conclusion that, hey, we shouldn't do that. We shouldn't smoke cigarettes while we're filling up our cars with gas. Know what I mean? As time goes on, you're naturally going to get smarter. As time goes on, you have no choice. You have no choice but to get smarter. What Tucker's doing is willful ignorance. You have no choice but to get smarter. Remember when you were a kid and you jumped off of a really high structure thinking that you were Superman, only to fucking hit the ground and realize you weren't? Did you ever do that again? No, you didn't, because you learned. You had no choice but to learn. Willful ignorance is not a good trait to have.
Regarding cosmology and plate tectonics and genetics, but we understand less than when none of those fields of science existed. Tucker is an immaculate example of a science-illiterate moron who genuinely believes that if he doesn't understand something, nobody does or ever has. It's literal toddler mentality.
We understand so little that we're actually...
Oh, you understand so little. I understand a good majority of it until they start to get into the mathematics and show me the math. But like,
He's sitting here allowing like a bunch of greedy, stupid, childless software engineers in Northern California to like flirt with the extinction of mankind.
Childless software developers. Not a single software developer has children, you guys. And their work will probably kill off mankind. It's definitely not going to be ultra right-wing science-denying evangelicals who manipulate and fearmonger their way into power and then bring us all back to the Dark Ages through brutal subjugation and a militarized police force. There's no risk of that at all.
Sounds like a good movie, though. With like a badass protagonist, maybe throw Keanu Reeves in there.
I mean, you know what I mean? Like, so no, previous generations would be like, what? No, stop.
Ah, yes, the age-old conservative myth that everything was better in the past.
Music and movies. We're not going to argue that, Dave. Music and movies were better in the past. Everything else, I agree. What you're saying. Yeah, dude, everything was better. Or not better. Everything was worse, is what I mean. Everything's better now, man. It might not seem that way because our society today is leaps and bounds different from this society right here. And while this society right here is ideal, this society right here is not nearly as competent and not nearly as, again, enlightened as we are today. It's just not. Would I love to go back to these times? I don't know, man. I'm brown. I'm not really sure I'd have a good time in these times. But like, would I love to go back to the 90s? Of course. Would I love to go back to the 80s? Of course. Fantastic times. We had fun. But when it comes to the collective knowledge and progression of a society, I don't want to go back to the 80s and 90s. I'll just throw on some Linkin Park and some Britney Spears and call it a day if I want to go back to the 90s. Right? But you know what I'm saying? It's just Tucker's weird, man. And
people were happier, they were smarter, they were more moral. Who could argue with that? In reality, it was full of genocidal maniacs who never stopped stealing land and enslaving each other. So they were even bigger assholes than we are today.
Yeah, and and Tucker says, we know less now than we did yesterday? Tucker, did you remember that at one point women couldn't vote? Did you remember at one point they could barely even speak? Did you remember at one point that we imposed slavery upon black people? Did you remember that we used to hang people in the streets? Which, to be fair, I still think that should be a thing in today's justice system. But did you know that as punishment we used to hang people? Electric chair, stoning. That's more of like a biblical punishment. But you know what I'm talking about, Tucker? Like, and we fixed all that stuff, man. We fixed all that stuff. I don't understand.
Except maybe you, Tucker.
And we're not doing that because
but
we
they
know...
wouldn't have done that even with the nuclear bomb.
Joe calmly pushes back with some basic logic, and then we begin pivoting to Tucker talking out of his ass on a variety of other topics. But those will have to wait for another day.
So what you mean to tell me is that the only time Tucker Carlson makes sense is when he's talking about politics? Is that the gist of it? I think that's the gist of it, really. So, yeah. I don't understand why you can't just have your faith, but also allow all of this shit to be true as well. Because it is true, man. And whatever that does to your faith or your belief, that is your problem. But we are not going to use wrong answers, dumb answers, answers that don't make any sense just to make you feel better about your faith. Tell me, if your faith is so strong and your faith is so great, why do you need other people to validate your faith? If your connection to God is so good and is so crystallized, why do you need other people to validate that for you? Why do you get bent out of shape whenever something is said or something is discovered that kind of chips away at what you believe in? Why is it even chipping away? Why is your relationship with God not rock solid? Not rock solid. Why is science making you feel bad? Is it because you're not all the way fully a believer in God? That'd be the only reason. Because I've met people that are fully devoted to God and they're like, all that science shit is hokum. Fuck it. I'm going about my day. But nope, not you. Not you. You let it eat at you. And if your connection to God is so strong, why is something as simple as science, with all these weird theories that don't make sense, why are you letting that chip away at the integrity of your relationship with the Lord? If it's so strong, right, Tucker? But you just seem like that one person that purchased a bad video game and there's a whole bunch of people giving shit reviews on that video game and you're over here just like, well, I mean, the day one patch wasn't that bad. I haven't got kicked all that many times. I mean, I'm not lagging. I mean, I know it was a little overpriced, but I mean, it's not that bad, guys. Like, give it a chance, you know? Just making excuses for a poor decision or for a poorly bought product or trying to defend your purchase. That's what you're doing. But why do you even have to, right? Aren't you? Isn't your faith like the bedrock of your fucking life, right? Why is something as simple as a scientific discovery making you that upset about something that should be rock solid? Belief, faith. Maybe you don't believe as much as you say you do. Maybe you don't have as much faith as you say you do. Maybe you're on the fence. Maybe that's why this science shit gets under your skin. It doesn't get under the skin of other people that have beliefs. They just straight up don't care. They don't even entertain it. They stay in their own little bubble. That's fine. You know what that means? That means that those people have a very good relationship with God. Nothing can shake their relationship. Nothing can shake their faith. You're weak-minded, Tucker. And your faith gets shaken all the time. Weird. All right, what's the next one? Oh, it's unsubscribed clips. Vince, are you still here? Army Ranger on fighting the Taliban. Should just put cowards. Army Ranger on fighting cowards. Let me guess. He's gonna say, "Oh man, they were hella good. I really underestimated them. They really knew what they were doing. You know, people like to talk shit, but they actually had some fight about them." Watch him say some shit like that when I know all that shit to be kind of untrue. Really, because I fought against the same kind of person, and all I experienced was cowardice, missed shots, and incompetence. That's not even getting me started on the A&A. See what this Army Ranger has to say. He's probably gonna kiss their ass for 10 minutes. Watch. Because I fought against these people. It's a joke, man. It's a fucking joke. We could have had better competition from the local airsoft team than against Taliban, bro. And don't start with this, oh, well, they had IEDs. Cool. A coward's tool. And? Doesn't make you a good fighter. It just makes you a pussy. Anyways. I'm gonna go smoke first but I'm gonna pull this up right now. I don't know what this guy's about to say, bro, but I'm telling you, I saw a Taliban one time try to level a RPG rocket, balance it on top of a Gatorade bottle so that he could shoot it at one of my friend's trucks. Only for this rocket to ignite, go off, go straight up, come back down, and kill the person that did it. He killed himself with his own contraption. And watch, this guy's gonna be like, "Oh man, that was a struggle. That was maybe, bro. Maybe you experienced a better quality, a better caliber of fighter. I experienced dog shit. So my bad. If what you say, I'm just roll my eyes at. I don't really think I have a choice. Maybe you're lucky.
So how would you purify?
Maybe you're lucky. Maybe you got to fight a better class of criminal, like Heath Ledger was saying on the Batman movie. I'm gonna give this town a better class of criminal. They deserve it. Or no, he says, this town deserves a better class of criminal. And I'm gonna give it to him. Maybe that's who you came across, Mr. Army Ranger. I sure as fuck did not. I came across Dogwater. I felt embarrassed for the people I had to shoot at. It was cringe. It was almost like I almost felt bad sometimes. Like, oof. What a bad day for them. If only y'all were just even 1% better, maybe y'all would survive this, but nope, y'all won't. Dogwater, trash, inferior, less than, sub. Okay, and I'm more afraid of the fucking dirt over there than I am of those fucking kids. It's just, I'm gonna go smoke and pretend like what I'm about to hear is... Alright. Let's watch this and try not to get jealous.
Because I guarantee he's about to give these dirty, inferior bastards their flowers, and I just can't because I guarantee my experience was different. Let's see.
The Taliban fighters had a methodology, because fighting in the cold sucks. Like, I don't know if you've read any military history, but like nobody likes to fight when it's cold out.
No.
And the Taliban fighters, what they would do is they would retreat to these high altitude mountain villages on the Pak border. So 10,000, 11,000 feet of elevation. They would just go hang out all winter. And somebody decided they were gonna send 3 Ranger battalions from sea level to fucking 10,000 feet of elevation in the middle of winter to go run these guys down out of their fucking safe havens. Like, no winter break for you guys. So it's called Operation Winter Strike. And it's one of the 2 times in history where all 3 Ranger battalions were deployed to the same area at the same time.
Yeah, definitely different experience, and definitely am jealous. Y'all actually probably got to see a different caliber of fighter than I did. Or maybe y'all saw the same caliber of fighter, but because they're used to that elevation, that cold, on the mountains, a lot more than y'all are, even though y'all probably trained a shit ton. They've been there for decades. So, yeah. Lucky you, man. Lucky fucking you. I was dealing with a fucking Down syndrome JV team. Lucky you.
And we did real rangering. Like, we drove the trucks as far as they would go, the Hiluxes and everything else, before armor. We didn't have any armor. We had gun trucks. We had zero. We had gun trucks, which were pretty cool Hummers with, you know, roll cages on it, but they looked like porcupines because we had a 3 240s and a Mark 19 or a 50 cal up top, and then everybody was armed with, like, there was usually a couple saws on them. So it was like, what was that movie, The Last Starfighter? If you hit the button, it just spins around and shoots everything. That's what our vehicles were like. If somebody like came at us, like the whole thing just erupted in fire, and you're like, we're good.
Fuck.
You know, I actually suggested that one time. Not even being serious, I just suggested it. I was like, man, what if we just put 50s on all 4 sides of this truck, and we just retrofitted the turret, and we just put, I don't know, 2 turrets up here instead of just 1? And then my commander was close by. He's like, that's the dumbest idea I've ever heard. I was like, oh, okay. Cool. Oh, the Rangers did it, so it can't be that stupid. Fuck you, Captain Wilson. I was right. Get dicked on. Fucking nerd. Fucking Megamind ass bitch.
Left side.
Yeah. Contact left.
Knew that was a good idea. Fuck yourself.
Just death blossoms. Yeah, just death
just
blossoms.
fucking goes away.
What was your experience with the Mark 19? Did you like it or hate it?
I loved it.
Really? There's no in between I've found from guys who've used it. They either love it or they hate it.
Even though the guy was a fire supporter.
I don't hate it. I didn't hate it. I just preferred the 50 cal. I like it better. That's just me.
And the reason I liked him is because, like, hey, you're rolling in an A-10 or a AC-130 or a couple of helicopters, and that thing makes a huge cloud. So if somebody is like having a sad face day because they're getting hit with Mark 19 shells, but what they really don't understand is that they're gonna have a whole bunch of like chain fucking machine gun fire and or 2.75 rockets and or a 500-pound bomb or a 1,000-pound bomb or a 2,000-pound bomb or a 105 millimeter cannon fired from the sky, like right up following that. And that was the reason why I liked this, because it was just such a good marking instrument. I could just create such a big dust cloud that everybody could see it up to 15,000 feet. We're like, oh yeah, that's where we're gonna fuck up right there. Let's do it.
God, it's a death Chem-X or a Chem-Light. It's marking your target. Marking your target. Oh, thank God, they missed. And then heaven is, like the hand of God is coming down after you and just obliterating that entire grid square.
Hypothetically speaking, because I know they probably didn't do it like this, but just imagine being in a fighting position. Boom, one round lands 50 feet away, 15 feet away.
They are really bad.
And it's just like, wow, okay, we're all good. Why was the round blue, full of blue chalk? Oh, man.
Yeah.
2,000-pound JDAMs is crazy. We did 500. We did like 2 500s, I think. Well, never dropped to 2K.
What most people don't understand is when those things go off, it's not the shock and explosion that's gonna fuck you up. It's all the shit falling down from the sky afterwards. It's so much energy, it blows shit, like cars, straps of metal, windows, glass, everything like that.
Dude, he's not lying, man. I saw a car get flung into the air. It had to have been an IED. Or a vehicle-borne IED. I think it was an IED because had it been a VBID, then what happened wouldn't have happened. But I saw this car just blow up. There was an explosion, and then I see a car come out of the smoke, and then the car goes like, I don't know, 20, 30 more feet in the air, and then it explodes in midair, and then just rains down a whole bunch of shit. I was just like, good lord. That means that something caused an explosion on a vehicle that already was full of explosives. And when I saw that, I was like, Jesus Christ.
Thousands of feet into the sky, and you're standing there after it goes off, and you're like, oh, wow, that was really cool. And all of a sudden, you start hearing dink, 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 dink. Oh, shit. Tire. Stuff's coming down around you. It is a big boom.
Damn.
Big boom.
Wild, dude. And then, so, yeah, the third range, all 3 Ranger bats deployed to which is wild to go from that much elevation change. You cannot train your body because it takes a week, 2 weeks to really climb.
We were 9,000 feet. I don't think they trained us at all. They didn't even mention anything about the elevation when we went. I just remember getting there and being out of fucking breath all the time the first week I was there. Like, Jesus Christ. I think I need to quit smoking. And then my squad leader was like, nah, dude, we're at a higher elevation. But on the bright side, once you get used to this, when we get back from our deployment, you'll be able to run 2 miles in like 10 minutes. And I'm like, word? Like, yeah, it's good. So
Climatized to a situation. Yeah, and you guys don't have...
Was it sea level to 11,000?
Sea level, and within 72 hours, I was at 6,000 feet. In another like 4 days after that, we were at 11.
Walking, and this is how many feet, like for reference, how far were you guys walking when you dismount?
It would be anywhere between, like we would do anywhere between like 5 to 12 miles a day.
Yeah, damn.
In the mountains, and then in the snow, it was snowing at that elevation.
That's the only thing that the donut operator has said this entire podcast. He was like, God damn. That's a lot, bro. Yeah, I did foot patrols when I was over there, but man, max foot patrol that we did? About 4 miles. Max foot. And that was yeah, 3 or 4. That was our max. That was our limit. We on foot, we wouldn't go further than that. I don't know if that was, and I never asked why. I don't know if that was like by design, on purpose, or if there was just like nothing to be had outside of that 3 to 4 mile radius. But it was 3 to 4 miles back. So on any given day, sometimes we would just patrol the village. Sometimes we would go further. Sometimes we would go hit up the mountains, go past the mountains, come back. Sometimes we would, I don't know, just patrol the area that we went to. So on top of just hiking there, we're walking around, we're doing shit, we're talking to people. It's just a lot of walking. And up the mountains, we only did that shit once a week. And it didn't really take us all that long to get up there. It's just getting up there was a pain in the ass, really. Or not for me. I did fall off the mountain. I did fall down the mountain, but I think the saw gunners hated it the most.
And so I remember we drove from Bagram to Asadabad, and then
Asadabad, I've been there.
Then we drove to Nangalam, which is now Fob Blessing, and we're there like, oh, dude, these mountains are big. And me and my JTAC, Sandy Lopez, we were sitting there looking at the terrain of where we're going. We're like, dude, this is steep. Like, I think it's like neither one of us are going to be both asleep at the same time. So like, we're going to ditch one of our sleeping bags because we had to carry all of our batteries for the week, and we had to have all of our radios to talk to aircraft. And it's like, okay, how are we going to shave weight between the two of us so that way we can walk up and down these hills? And we ended up driving going up this mountain.
See, it was different for us whenever we went up these mountains because our sole purpose for going up these mountains was just we had CPs up there. We had CPs up there that were run by A&A. We used to have to go up there to check on them, just make sure things were good, and if they needed anything, then maybe they got sick or a replacement. We would check up on them once a week, right? And we would just like go up the mountain, and then once we were on top of the mountain, we would just go and walk. Like on top of the mountain, we would walk at the peak, just around, and our fob was surrounded by this mountain. So we would go up, make a left, and then go around, and then when we were done, we would make our way back, all the way back, and come right back down the way we came. End of mission. It's over. And I genuinely liked those missions because when we were tasked with those missions, we weren't tasked with any other mission. So if we left the installation for a foot patrol, we could quite possibly still get in a convoy that day, right? But with those up on the mountain, those were our only missions that day. And then obviously we were also in charge of the towers on this installation, which was unfortunate because tower sucked. Tower 4 in particular. You're in no man's land by yourself in pitch black darkness. So I like those missions because they were our only missions of the day, and then I could just fuck off to my tent. I don't know, man, play some Madden or whatever. But sucks for y'all. That's rough.
And it dumped like feet of snow on us. And we found this goat hut right at like 11,000 feet, and literally 6 inches of goat shit on the bottom of it. The thing's like, we're creeping to get in there. And we're like, I guess we're staying in the goat hut for the next day or two until like things are good. And, you know, we lay out the sleeping bag and he's sleeping and I'm sleeping and we're just freezing. And somebody goes like, dude, the commanders said, let's start a fire. And so we're like, oh, fuck yeah. So somebody goes out and we're like getting the snow off all the wood. We're finding dry pieces of wood and somebody starts a small fire in this little goat hut. The smoke floats up, hits the lid. And you know, like when you're inside an enclosed space and you can see a layer of smoke? 10,000 spiders minimum descending out of the roof of the goat hut.
Oh, fuck.
Platoon of screaming.
Yeah, dude. Fuck the combat zone. I don't even care if I give away my position. I think I'm losing my fucking mind. I think I'm losing my mind. God damn it, soldier. Get a grip on yourself. I wasn't trained for this, Sergeant. This was not in basic training. This was not nowhere. Fuck this. I'm out. And you know Taliban were probably close by, or maybe they had binoculars or something, and they were just probably laughing their ass off like, Ahmed, they found the goat house. Oh, dude. That's rough. Nah. That's spiders, man. And I don't even know what kind of spiders those were, but the spiders I encountered in Afghanistan, they were they were chunky, bro. Camel spiders? No. That like this size. They would fluctuate between like let me give you an example. Better example. Here we go. Camel spiders in Afghanistan would range. I saw 3 different sizes of these bitches, and they would range like that big. They would range that big. The smallest one I saw, the biggest one I saw, obviously, the one in the middle. They ranged about that big. And bro, I didn't fuck around. It was on sight with these fucking things. I killed them. but they never came in thousands like here. That's absurd.
Rangers?
Bunch of grown-ass men screaming like bitches, but hey, it's okay because I'd be right there with you screaming like a little bitch, like, oh no, no, man, which is just so funny. Army Rangers about to fuck some shit up. Some of the baddest dudes on earth. Screaming about some motherfucking spiders. And you know what, I'll tell you, it's probably not even like, it was probably just a shock, really. And I wonder how many of those Rangers in their head, they were like, we walked into a trap. They're using spiders now. They said, fuck the IEDs. This is next level war. Sir, we gotta go. Oh, I wonder how many people thought that, like, this was their plan.
One single Mark 19 round.
Dude, ready to... And then we're all outside like, oh, we're good. And they're all like little teeny spiders. And we're like, what's worse, the cold or the spiders and the shit? And we're like, the cold is worse. So we went and we endured the spiders and the for like the next day. God. So we could get out of there. Oh, it's so...
You could have made a game about it, man. Whoever kills the most spiders, everyone buys that person drinks whenever y'all get back.
Horrible. Yeah, that was a good one.
And then for like, you're walking this much distance, as you're saying, like cutting weight. You're still walking with how many pounds on you?
About 60, I'd have to guess.
The combat is 35 pounds, like give or take. But if you're doing multiple days, that increases.
I had 2 embitters and a 117, so I was carrying 40 pounds of radio and battery, and 40 pounds of radio just alone.
Yes.
Before my
That's 60. Yeah, I was right. 60 pounds. That radio is not light. We had a comms guy. Lucky for him, he didn't have to carry this big bitch like back in the day, and probably like some Rangers do. But yeah, those things are heavy as fuck. I've handled them before just because I was really good. I was best friends with the communications guy. He was my homie. So yeah. And whenever it came to filling radios, oh my god, just having him as a friend was a godsend. I knew how to fill radios and shit like that, and like the ComSec and stuff, but shit was always so tedious to me, really. And he was always there to do it for me, and he would do mine first out of anyone in the convoy or in the foot patrol that day. And I'd be like, fuck yeah, it's one less thing I have to worry about. So
weapon and ammo and my cold weather gear and my sleeping stuff.
60 pounds.
Like, that's just radios. Do my job.
Yeah.
Those ammo, guns, all those little things start stacking up so fast.
And this was before like all the Gucci gear. You got to remember
This is why okay guys, so this is why I shed the girdle. I shed the deltoid pads. I shed the fucking there's a piece of armor that goes right here attached to your vest that is supposed to protect your jugular. I got rid of that. I got rid of the deltoid pads. I got rid of the it's called a girdle, but it protects your extremities down here in your pubic area. I got rid of that. I didn't wear knee pads. I didn't wear elbow pads. Guys, the only thing I used for combat: helmet, eye protection, my vest, my ammo, my weapon. That's it. Anything that I could get rid of to just shed weight on my body, that's what I did. And it became problematic during these fucking foot patrols up on the mountains because we all had assault packs, because we didn't really know what to expect when we were going. Anything could happen on those mountains, and if shit were to happen and we would have to stay on those mountains for any reason, we would have stuff with us, right? And some of us even took assault packs on foot patrols, but like this guy did with his buddy, I also had friends that would carry certain shit in their assault pack, and I would put some of my shit in their assault pack, and I'd have another friend that would have his assault pack, and we would carry vice versa, and we would just mix shit up just for the mission, so it was just less shit that we would have to carry. Sometimes I'd carry an assault pack for a foot patrol, sometimes my homie would carry an assault pack for the foot patrol, or sometimes my other homie would carry one. Sometimes I'd carry one, sometimes I wouldn't. Just depended. Anything I could get rid of, man, to just like make weight. Also, side plates. We had side plates. These side plates are actual ballistic plates, just like your chest, just like your back, and they go on your sides right here. Those, yanked them out, threw them under my fucking bed. Didn't use those either. There was just a... Long story short, had I died in combat, once they got done investigating my death, there's a high probability that they wouldn't have given my family any compensation because I wasn't wearing any of the proper PPE. And in the military, if you're not wearing the proper PPE and you get fucked up doing something and you weren't wearing the proper shit that the military gave you to protect yourself, then I don't think your family is entitled that 400 grand that they would give you had you perished, because that's how much a soldier's life is worth, between $400,000 and $500,000, right? So had I died in combat, bro, I don't think my family would have gotten any of that, simply because I didn't wear any of the shit that they gave me. I just wore the shit that mattered. All of the extra shit, bro, it will not save your life. All of that extra shit will not stop my body from going into a million pieces if I step on a pressure plate. And if I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die comfortably. That was my whole thought process.
Still in like, we were wearing BDU tops, so the green BDU top, and we were wearing chocolate chip bottoms because that was the best color combo. This is prior to multicam.
Yeah, this
is pre-multicam, because you look like a bush when you wear like the desert bottom with a jungle top. You actually kind of blend in better. It really works.
I've never thought about that.
Interesting.
It literally would look like a Christmas tree or a bush because it's green up top and then
ground green.
Yeah,
it works. Right, and so that was the camo that we were using at the time, and like this is the best we had was like Daner cold weather.
Rangers can usually get away with using other than conventional methods of camouflage, more so than the unit that I was in. Everything was pretty strict when it came to uniformity and not really. What, girl? What do you want? It's not time. It's not. And I already gave you a snack. Out of here.
Their boots, and I'll never fucking forget. Like we were up there freezing. We had the wool, the old green wool inserts inside the leather fast rope gloves, and that was all that we had. That was it.
Wait, those suck actually, bro. Ooh, that's rough. I just used regular gloves. Even when it was super fucking cold and snowing and I was in the turret of a moving fucking vehicle. I used the small gloves because I couldn't afford to wear big gloves. I couldn't afford to wear thick or chunky gloves to keep my hands warm, because if I needed to operate that 50, I couldn't have my gloves getting caught on shit. And with big gloves, I couldn't have been able to press that butterfly trigger. Same thing with my weapon, because I kept my M4 up in the turret. I couldn't afford to wear big gloves because then my finger wouldn't fit through the... I couldn't get my finger on the trigger. So...
And we landed on a helicopter one night and we cleared this valley, and I remember like sleeping in this barn on a big pile of shuck corn, and I am cuddled next to my JTAC. I am like pulling him in. I am hemorrhaging. I am so cold.
Hemorrhaging.
Like just...
Releasing.
No, I say hemorrhaging. I'm seizing. Whatever. I'm like...
Whenever you're so cold that your lower back hurts. Have you ever been that cold? You're so cold that the muscles in your lower back, they tighten, and it's just such an uncomfortable, painful feeling that, and you can't stop shaking. I've been that cold before, and dude, it is unbearable. It is so unbearable.
It's like
I'm releasing inside my JTAC.
You're so cold that your back hurts because you're shivering so hard.
Yes, he knows, bro. Like your lower back, it's just like it's hard to explain. You're so cold that it's, if you know, you know. It's hard to explain.
And the next morning, this 47 comes like rolling up the valley, and we're like, oh, what are they gonna bring? What are they gonna bring? What are they gonna bring? And they rolled in and they kicked out a couple duffel bags. And this is back in the day when like guys would call up with a credit card and they go, hey man, we need like 200 pairs of fucking gloves from the local REI. And we need them driven to this airfield right now. And they would put them on a C-17 and they would be on their way to country immediately. That's what happened is They bought OR gaiters and OR gloves from Outdoor Research.
Yeah, OR was huge at that.
Well, they still are
Yeah,
one of the
massive.
the best glove manufacturers. And if we actually could move our fingers during the day to actually work our radios and move our weapons and do our jobs. Yeah.
That's why there's just like they're an Uber pulling up.
Yeah.
Ditching it.
There was lots of times on missions where I didn't feel my fingers, especially if I was in the turret, which operating those guns and you can't feel your fingers is just as bad as having those thick ass gloves on. So
everything and then bouncing like, oh.
Well, we were so high elevation, the helicopters couldn't land.
Yep.
They had to keep a forward momentum, to get
and y'all just hop on
in and get out of the valley and then turn around and get
or
back
just to drop shit off.
Back out. And they were just like kicking it off as they rolled.
Why couldn't they land?
We were at so high elevation. I think we were like 11,500 feet.
I just had because I don't know what about the elevation prohibited that from landing.
It's
the thin air.
Yeah, thin air, and I think how the gas, like the motor, it's like very rich, or it starts.
The air is thinner, so
I don't know the science behind it, but yeah, I don't think I've ever seen a helicopter land that high.
Yeah, and so it starts running leaner, and you hit that point where then it just will.
Like taking off is not a thing you can do once you land. Kind of
gas
thing.
is firing. How it's firing, everything is just fucked at that point. So they have to do, like, come in.
And we were at the range limitation where they would stop and get fuel. They would climb to elevation, fly out, and we're like right at the fringes of where they could get to us. They drop it and turn back around and fly out.
It was a wild time.
So what did they drop off?
Outdoor Research gloves and gaiters.
Yeah.
And then, oh my God, this is the best things ever.
Put some on my feet.
I stayed wearing the gaiter, dude. It was so good. If for nothing else, my fucking ears, man, because those got so cold. And then my dress ritual whenever it was cold over there is I would put on 2 pairs of socks, and I would put on my my long john bottoms, which was like kind of just like cold weather pajamas, damn near, that they gave you, and I love those things. And then I'd put those, actually, before I put those on, I'd put on my underwear and then a separate set of underwear that was almost like spandex, almost like basically was spandex. I'd put that on, and then I'd pull the cold weather bottom pajamas up over that, and then I would pull up my uniform bottoms. And then with my brown t-shirt, the long sleeve, brown t-shirt, and then a long sleeve pajama top, just like my bottoms would go on, and then my top, and then a jacket over my top. And then I had 3 to 4 more jackets inside the truck that I would put on every 3 hours into our mission. Usually they would be able to tell us how long the mission would last. And if they couldn't tell us how long the mission would last, I would just I would try to do it on the fly. But essentially, a key way to stay warm in really, really cold environments, and I learned this very quickly, is you don't put everything on at once when it's really, really cold. You put on a couple of layers, right? As your time in the cold progresses, you put on another layer. And then maybe 3 to 4 hours later, you put on another layer. And then another one, and then another one. It'll consistently keep you warm, as opposed to just putting on all the layers at once, and then boom, now you're used to it, now you're cold. You're still cold, right? Even with all that shit on. So, it was just a little system that I had. Would you stop it? Alright, guys, gals, I'm gonna get out of here. I really thought this video was going to be about his encounters with the Taliban. It was so much a funny story. Thank God. I thought I was going to have to get jealous on that last one. Oh man, you encountered a much better caliber fighter than I did. It was all fucking Joe Biden's over where I was. Yeah, I knew it. Professor Dave reacting to rapping Flat Earther. Yeah, he's the guy that debunks all the flat Earth shit. Which, if you ever find a video of him that's like decent, that's like a decent length about him shitting on flat earthers, I'd love to watch that because yeah, they're some wild people. All right, guys, gals, I'm out. Have a fantastic evening. Have a fantastic Friday. We'll be live again tomorrow. Probably live on Twitch. Probably do some music. If y'all want to hang out, feel free. If not, I will see you on Monday. I may go live Sunday too. It just depends. Probably be another YouTube stream. Depends. I'll upload some stuff, edit some stuff. But for right now, I gotta go. My niece is about to be here, and I'm starving. So, have a good evening, guys. Love y'all. Thanks for hanging out, and I will see y'all tomorrow. All right.